Oh, hello. Thanks for coming today. Thanks for arriving today. I don't know what accent I'm doing. Started British, ended Australian, and now I just think I might be having a stroke. Check out our mugs, the new American media, black and white and red all over, just like the old newspapers used to be. It's merch. We sell merch. Thank you, John, for creating a batch of these. If you want one like Kenneth did. See, what Kenneth did was he shot us a Venmo at my name, Brian Engelman, and we sent him a mug for the new American media. You too can have one. Just shoot me a Venmo with your address. It includes up to $10 shipping nationwide. I think maybe I should do a Shopify store and put all of this stuff on there, like the coaster sets that we have or the pins. Yeah, maybe I'll get around to that. Maybe I'll look into that. But for now, if you want them, hit me up on Venmo and I'll get those out to you. But I start every show kind of glancing at the mug, so I talk about the mug, and it throws off the beginning of the show, but it's okay. Because the beginning of the show, you get advertisements, and some of you even let them play. The advertisements are like tossing a penny into the wishing well. Because let's face it, I am your humble guitar player, your busker. I stand out here on the street corner, performing my songs, covering my news. And if you like what you're hearing, maybe you toss something into that open guitar case. That open guitar case, well, that kept me out of quite a few jams. See, I just open that thing up and start strumming away, and sometimes, well, it'd form a crowd. Well, if they seemed to like what you were doing, they might show their appreciation. Well, I did appreciate it because it paid the bills. Gave me a place to get a shave and a shower. Maybe a shot of bourbon. I'll have to invent a character that just goes town to town. Maybe I'll put that character in the Moon Saloon. I wonder how many of you know anything about the Moon Saloon. I don't talk about it very often. The Moon Saloon's a pretty big deal. A project that I've been working on / not working on for a long time. But yeah, maybe I'll make a character, a busker. Someone just stands on the street corner, performs for tips. Some lady was doing that at the grocery store around Christmas. I went over there and it was some Arabic lady, and after you gave her a tip for just like, hey, I liked hearing music, that's good. Man, did she lay it on thick in a fraud scheme. Ooh, did I dislike what was going on. I mean, she needs $500 and she needs it today because she's going to lose her apartment and her kid. Like, I just looked at her. I didn't even show any emotions. I didn't move my facial. Like, she was pitching me hard, and I disliked it. I thought about calling the grocery store to get her kicked out of there. Because while I liked the music, I didn't like the shakedown efforts and the guilt trips and the scam that was being run. You know, that was the siren song to get you over. Like, oh, what's going on? Are you okay? Uh-oh. Now I've been drawn into a trap. You know, maybe that's what I saw in that Fallout scene on Amazon Prime. If you watch the series Fallout based on the video game, it's interesting. I'm watching it. But yeah, the American Primeval, they found a little girl and they're like, are you okay? Like, there's a little baby and it was a trap. Like, they get you with that. They draw you in and they're like, I gotcha. Some people say that's what marriage is. And in some cases, that might be true. That might absolutely be true. But yeah, I felt like the music was a siren song. I went over to get, hey, show some appreciation. One musician to another. And that sales pitch, it was an Arabic lady. And she was coached. She had done this before. This was, and I just thought of the 70-year-old lady, like, maybe taken in by all this and getting bombarded. I mean, it was quite a sales pitch. But yeah. Compassion is often quite a sales pitch. Because who doesn't want to be compassionate, right? Hey, maybe even that's why we should get out there and interfere with ICE, because we should be compassionate to anybody that wants to come here and take our money. No, we don't. Never have needed to act that way. And it's a very modern phenomenon that one political party inside of America would concoct a scheme to sell the country out right underneath your feet to foreign invaders who are going to breed child after child after child, sometimes wife after wife after wife, sometimes healthcare facility driven to by a healthcare transportation company, fed by a healthcare company, grocery store, all from your tax dollars. These Democrats have not only invited tens of millions of people here to live a life of luxury on your tab. Look, now I've been a bartender for a long time. When I talk about the border, I say, we need a bouncer at the door, period. Use that analogy in almost any scenario here, whether we're talking about Minneapolis or what was some stuff happened again yesterday. It's going to happen until the Democrats stop funding these protests, these plays. They're plays. They show up in their cities and they run their play. They have it's a whole thing. It's a whole scripted act. It's all an act. Like the lady that drew me in with her compassion. She drew me in with the music, but then once she got close enough, she hooked me and tried to keep me and tried to get hundreds of dollars out of me. We are being robbed and replaced, and we are suckers if we go along for it. Go along for the ride. Go along with the scheme. Compassion. Passion is in compassion. I have this stone here in the office. It's a zoisite balancing the strong energies of a ruby, making it a combination stone that's especially well designed for balancing all energies, especially those that are quick and passionate. The merging of these two stones is also helpful with clarifying and focusing creativity, which comes from fire and the heart. If you often feel that your ideas are swirling about in your head, this stone can help balance and focus them. And that would be this from Sedona. I feel like I need a third light. I know the lighting in here is not perfect, but it's sort of, doggone it, it's good enough for me. Yeah. Absorb the sun of Bell Rock, Arizona. This thing. An obelisk of types. A pyramid, if you will. So sort of like the new food pyramid that we announced with the MAGA administration yesterday. It's going to mainly focus on meat and fresh fruit and vegetables, and at the bottom, just a very little bit of whole grains. Talked about the food pyramid. Did anyone see the skit that I did yesterday? I put it out. I did a 1-minute short. It's on the Rumble channel. It's on the YouTube channel. It's under shorts. Raise your hand? Did you see it? Did you see the short? I put on my Bobby Kennedy jacket and I did Bobby Kennedy for 61 seconds. But in that skit, he was talking about the food pyramid. I just wanted to get something out there before I talked myself out of doing it. Otherwise, I would have rewritten it a couple of times and improved upon the skit. And I guess I could still do it a second time, add a few more pyramid jokes. Maybe work in pyramid schemes. Ooh, work in like budget and pyramid schemes. Because that's sort of what this is too. I mean, Americans have been taught that there's some sort of the earth is collapsing, too many people, were overpopulated. I was told that. I believed that. That's not true. What is the number? 2.3 kids is like the replacement rate. Just there's going to be attrition and there's going to be accidents along the way. Like you need like 2.3 kids or 1 point, whatever it is. Just growing up in a world where it's like, yeah, too many people, and if you're American, you're bad, and if you're this, you're bad, and if you're that, you're bad, and you should feel shame. By the way, we're going to flood the country with people who are going to have their own families, have many, many, many kids, and in 1 to 2 generations, you will be shut out, done, gone, replaced in your own country. Because you listen to the people that said the earth, the chicken little, the sky is falling, don't have kids. Oh, things are so messed up, don't bring kids into this world. You should just be reckless and just bang with no consequences. And when you do get kids, chippity chop, they'll get rid of them and we'll take the parts and we're going to get rich off of these parts because, hey, essentially we're running a baby mill by pushing all these abortions in these big city centers. Not that abortions only happen in big cities, of course, but the generation that's getting through this mess was told the earth is falling apart, don't have kids. The earth is overpopulated, don't have kids. The pollution, it just, we're all being poisoned. Don't bring a kid into this world. Also, when you do have kids or you do get pregnant or you have happy accidents, whatever you want to call it, don't have a family. It's tough. It's expensive, and we'll make it more expensive by devaluing your currency, by the way. Oh, and make sure that both of your mother and father are now working full-time, barely making ends meet because the currency has been devalued so much. You know what? And you don't want kids because it's going to be so expensive and a hassle, and just live for yourself, man. Like, this is just a video game. You play it for you. There's no point in pushing for the future. Don't worry about the future. Meanwhile, they're planning to replace you in the future, which is the current, which is the present. And it was initiated in the past. You're just supposed to go back to sleep. Don't think about that. Then if you do have some kids and you are the type of people that care about raising kids right, it's harder and harder to get by, so both parents go out to work and you got to put them in daycare. Now let's put aside this Minnesota Somali situation for a minute, because that's a whole different type of daycare slant and angle that we can discuss. But for this purpose, call it school, where for 8 hours you have a very obviously hand-selected group of leftist, globalist, deep state Democrat radicals. The face piercings, the dyed hair, the anger, the daddy issues, the problems that mentality brings. And then these people are going to brainwash your child for 8 hours a day to turn them into something different than you and your spouse. They're recruiting, they're changing, they're grooming. And when you turn on the news, you're lied to, you're manipulated, you're swayed every day toward the exact same group of people. The same ones trying to replace you, the same ones trying to burn this country down and be king and queen of the ashes. It is a nonstop barrage dealing with the Democrats. The Democrat cartel. They're not leading America to a prosperous, happy, healthy place. It's bitter, it's angry, it's violent, it's obvious, it's a problem. And we need collective brainwashing to get people to snap out of it. So, we gather to unpack all the strange complexities of these stories. The things that are happening in our world, we're supposed to be told it doesn't matter. Maybe Minneapolis doesn't matter because that's not here. I'm not there. Doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Take the black pill. Go back to sleep. Maybe the stuff in Iran doesn't matter. Because, hey, we got to be America first, America only. MAGA, make America great again. Tell me where that means that you're supposed to sit down on the global stage and watch your rivals who are actively trying to take you out gain a foothold in your hemisphere. Where does it say that? Didn't J.D. Vance talk about immigration and the difference between settlers and migrants? Settlers forging a nation versus a migrant showing up to a place that's already been established. And that's not to say what difference at this point does it make, like Hillary Clinton did. But J.D. Vance said something along the lines of, just because we were formed a particular way 300 years ago doesn't mean that we have to have a suicidal immigration policy today. What is the argument there? Because France gave you a large lady in the bay holding a torch, and it's inscribed somewhere, "Give me your tired and your sick, your huddled masses." Because France gave a gift, we need to have suicidal empathy on border issues. Everything comes back to working in a bar. Everything comes back to, that's hence the Moon Saloon. It's where I've been. It's what I know. It's what I do. It's what I like. It's what I'm good at. You have a bouncer at your door to make sure things are under control. Make sure you're collecting your cover charge so you can pay the sound engineer, the DJ, the sound guy. Got to pay your door person. You got to cover all the overhead as a promoter. That's just how you do it. There's nothing wrong with having enforcement of your facility, your club, your bar. That's the first thing you do. You got to have some common sense with that. But we're living in a time where it's just there has been a scam perpetrated on the American people. It's treason most foul. You want to think there's an exaggeration there when you watch President Trump get shot in the head in Butler when he was indicted for BS frame job after BS frame job after he was spied on because another fake Russian dossier by Perkins Coie, Hillary Clinton, the DNC, paid for this Steele dossier report so that they could get some sort of fake cover to spy on President Trump, candidate Trump in his campaign, to turn the screws and do everything possible to destroy your political opponent in the most anti-American, anti-constitutional way imaginable. Yeah, that's what Barack Hussein Obama and his ilk were up to. That's what the deep state were up to. That was their game. That was what they were playing. That's what they're still doing. And they don't care about making this place a good place and spending some time. Hey, we got some stuff to work on. Let's get it done. It's all about power. It's all about domination. The Democrats will burn it all down for a little bit of power and control. They will sell you out for 40 pieces of silver. They don't care. A Somali enclave, fine. Let's find a way to get you set up on this government gravy train. Make sure you're funneling 10% for the big guy right back to us. And we'll just keep this going forever. Islamic Supremacists, come on in. Take over New York. It's all good. No. We're just here. Let's go. Take over New York City. Look at London. Do you think it matters? Yes, it matters. Because there's either compatible ways of life that respects the human, or there are incompatible ways of life that disrespect humanity. And the tyranny, the oppression of the Islamic supremacists who have been running Iran, Persia, there's a new call to rename it Persia and bring it back to the people. Remove that country from the map, change it back to something that is definitely not ruled by Islamic supremacists. The Sharia demands are antithetical to the Bill of Rights protections. That's oil and water. These are non-compatible. You get what I'm saying. Sometimes I do over-explain. I'll give you 17. It's like, yeah, we got it. They're oil and water. You had me at oil and water. So does Iran matter? America first, America only. Rand Paul, Thomas Massey, the hardcore libertarians, they don't want President Trump doing anything. Seemingly ignoring that the globalist deep state that's been positioning their power, control, their puppets for 100 years, since 1913 at least. They've got a 100-year head start on a lot of this stuff that needs to be changed. And you finally have a commander-in-chief that kind of wants this country to do well. And you want to block that? I'm listening, but I'm not understanding. That's not to say you should give unfettered, full-fledged, head in the sand blanket approvals to anyone. But this is a mess. And from Venezuela losing Maduro, that feels like a good thing. Iran losing the Islamic Supremacists who overthrew Persia. Wasn't that Christian Persia? Like so much of the Middle East and North Africa has been, but large parts of Africa, Christian lands taken over through the caliphate of the Sharia demands of the Islamic supremacists who say, you must now repeat and believe everything I say or I will end you. That's called a bully. That's called a bully. So we are now living in a world with instant access to partial information, AI confusion, financial constraints and strain and inflation, programming on our media, manipulation, misinformation, disinformation, the whole deep state lying legacy media complex. I mean, I don't see how they didn't see it coming. And maybe it took somebody superhuman like Elon and somebody superhuman like Trump. Like, name two other people that it could have saved the country from what was pretty much a done deal, a hostile takeover, a coup. So it's important, I think. Should we be involved in Venezuela? Should we be involved in Iran? Should we be involved in Nigeria? Should we be involved in Ukraine? Should we be involved? We're involved everywhere. It obviously makes sense that anywhere anything is, we should have a presence and some sort of eye on things and handle on things to the best of our ability, to the most that we can. But you start to get into the territories of we have an unlimited budget. Let's create 1 million operations and take over the whole game of Risk. Let's go buy Greenland. Well, strategically speaking, Panama Canal, Venezuela, Greenland, the Monroe Doctrine that has sort of been the governing force in America for, what was that, 100 years? Roughly 100 years. Why not? Can't we buy Greenland? You're telling me we couldn't make $1 million a person if we bought that place, gave everybody $1 million? Says, hey, switch over to this team. Here's what we're offering. We're going to develop some of this. We're going to do this and this. We're going to make money. We're going to give that money back to you. We're going to give it all to you up front. But for all the ships that are coming through here, what type of ships? Well, let me tell you what type of ships. Ghost ships. Phantom ships. Friendships? No. Shadow fleets. The SS Friendship, isn't it? Take a ride on the SS Ownership. I own you. Man, that's a blast from the past. There's tankers that are being seized by the United States. So have we gone full on game of military global conquest, or are we repositioning the global game of risk, moving pieces on the board? So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about some Iran. We're going to talk about some Venezuelan oil tankers in Russia. And, it's easy to get away with things when the people in charge let you, when they're in on it, when they're co-conspirators. So what happens now that Jacob Fry and Tim Walz are being criminally referred to the Department of Justice? What comes next and how soon? And what will the reaction be? And are you ready for what's about to pop off? Are you ready? No, because we never are. But it's here. And we've been trying to prepare you for this for 15 years on the New American Media. It's why we do what we do. By the way, speaking of doing what we do, let me put this on the screen at the bottom so that you can read this. All of our donation links, sign up on Patreon, monthly Rumble and YouTube subscriptions, and Rumble Rant and Super Chat tips. If you throw, I think, $5 in Rumble, I'm going to cross the barrier and I can transfer that back to the business account, by the way, at another milestone on Rumble. Thank you for everybody following us there. But it's why we do what we do. We stand on the street corner speaking truth. We stand on the street corner talking about all the things that we sifted through in the past day. And we try to talk about it in a way that connects the dots, because this is connected. Not everything like somebody in the basement with strings and pins. But it is. It's all connected. It sometimes feels like it would be better if we just put our head in the sand. None of this shit matters, right? I don't know. I sort of think maybe it does. Maybe it does all matter. It kind of sucks, knowing that everything matters. That's sort of one of the teachings of Christianity. It's like, you make an account for your life. It's all on your permanent record. Act accordingly. As Wrangler Star. Do you know Wrangler Star? Type yes, Wrangler Star, no Wrangler Star in the comments. Question of the day. He'll end a lot of his videos on YouTube. I don't even know how to describe him. He's a content creator. He'll end a lot of his videos saying, act accordingly. Speaking of content creators, continued prayers for peace and strength to Scott Adams, who has been in hospice. I believe he said he's off his medications. Just any moment now, he's sort of seeing the light at the end of the tunnel in a different way, perhaps. But a couple of posts about him we'll get to today. One of the more prominent podcasters, broadcasters, show doers of the past decade. Super influential on how we unpack stories. And that's super crucial right now with Minneapolis, with, I don't know, wherever somebody else got shot because they're tried to run over in a car again. The Democrats don't have anything, so they are desperate for a George Floyd 2.0. They are desperate to try to set America on fire and have a nationwide anti-Trump movement heading into the midterms. Aren't you sick of that? Aren't you absolutely sick and damn tired of that? I mean, you've had the overthrow, the seizure of several key American cities overthrown by the deep state Democrats, because that's where they focus their efforts, into these big cities, because they can overthrow the whole state by focusing on the city. The city is more important than the state. A couple of cities together, you take over the country. That's what we're up against. Decades and decades and decades. And decades and decades and decades and decades of a system that's been screwing us, robbing us, lying to us, harming us. So forgive me if I want to grant a little bit of leeway to the first person that actually feels like an American commander-in-chief. trying to make sure we are strong, not the shareholders of the military industrial complex, Fortune 500 company that got the contract after going into said country and gets the rebuilding deal to go Halliburton it up in Iraq. Like, it doesn't feel like everything is a payback. It just feels like we're trying to make this place sane and safe and strong. That's all I'm looking for. So I feel like a little bit of leeway is in order. But to the disruptive Democrats, you know what they're doing. They're doing it again. They're going one more time, trying to relive their glory days of the Summer of Love riots. Oh, weren't they grand? Weren't they grand? Really warmed the soul to stand by those mostly peaceful but fiery fires. It warms the soul. Didn't Tim Walz's wife say that she loved the smell of napalm in the morning? Or she talked about she'd open the window and smell the burning tires. I'm a Democrat. Look what I did today. Something like that. Perhaps misattributed. I'm going to ask Tim Walz's wife, burning tires, quote. Let's see what Grok says if I give it that prompt. I said a word in my my skit yesterday, my Bobby Kennedy skit, and I didn't say it right. In July 2020 interview with KSTP TV, an ABC affiliate in Minnesota, Gwen Waltz. Wait, Tim Waltz, they're saying he's heterosexual? That might be more news than... Oh. Okay. I guess he has a wife. Wait, hold on. You're saying Jacob Frey has a wife too? Whoa. Buddy, I saw him dance. Okay, then. Film at 11. I love those catchphrases of yesteryear. Film at 11. In 2020, Gwen Waltz discussed the unrest following George Floyd's death, saying, "Again, we had more sleepless nights during the riots. I could smell the burning tires. And that was a very, very, and that was a very real thing. And I kept the windows open as long as I could because I felt like that was such a touchstone of what was happening. I love the smell of burning tires in the morning." The full context was her reflecting on the intensity of the events and staying connected to them, even from the governor's residence. Love the smell of burning tires in the morning. Democrats are desperate to try to make some martyrs out of their insurrectionists, out of their treasonous actors. They're trying to co-opt the Second Amendment, self-defense. You don't get to go charging into a situation to impede law enforcement. You don't get to aim a loaded weapon at an officer and then lunge at them with it. That's exactly what a car is. It's a knife. You use deadly force to stop somebody who charges with you with a knife. Oh, okay, well, maybe the first shot was okay, but the other two, you got to throw him in jail for life. They all happen in a second and a half. It's bang, bang, bang. Forgive me if I grant a little bit of leeway to the person who had been involved in that officer. It's being reported that he was dragged by a car 6 months ago, almost killed by someone who hit him with a car or dragged him with a car. So if we want to take the Minneapolis situation and say we need to work on our techniques and do more training, I'm in favor of more training, better procedures. But if the answer to a bunch of people snuck into the nightclub, what do we do? If your answer is, well, you have no right to touch them. You have no right to get them out of your club. And by the way, if you put your hands on them and something bad happens, it's going to be on you, pal. And by the way, we're going to be instigating incidents where you have to get violent with them, and we're going to be filming it for political gain and propaganda. And then we're going to cry when our partner is on the other end of that. That's the story, is that this lady from out of state that went to go cause problems for ICE had a significant other partner lady filming it, who then said it's my fault or something like that. It is the Democrats' fault for doing this. They're whipping you up into a frenzy because they want to distract from the fact that they've stolen the ground out from under your feet. They've taken your hard work, your earnings, your savings, and they've destroyed the value of your currency. They are thieves and pirates. They are traitors. And it's all connected. It's all sort of connected. So join us on today's program as we unpack the stories, separate fake news from fact, and try to seek truth, challenge dogma, and have fun here on the New American Media. So buckle up. The TNAM Daily Show starts now.
Your guide to the truth, thenewamericanmedia.com.
Thank you so much for being here. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with a friend, text the share button out, copy the link, invite a couple friends, family members, neighbors, put it on Facebook, put it on X, tell people about the show, share the link. It's time to grow this thing. Bust the algorithm, watch extra shows, comment, super chat, rumble rant, donations, all the things. Do all the things, please. Do all the things. Let's jump into our chat. Hello, Danette. Welcome. Marion, welcome. Of course, Kenneth. Kenneth has one of these mugs sitting in his office. Thank you for being here. All right, let's see if I forget what questions I might have asked. So let me filter through the comments. Conversation about cream cheese. It caught my attention because I've been helping somebody. If you can, if you're on Instagram or Facebook, follow Cheesecakes by Battle. Cheesecakes by Battle. The guy that designed our intro, let me show you. The guy that designed, I thought it was, yes, this one. And that was when Biden was ruling over America after seizing power in 2020. I said, let's think of a better day when we take our country back. And he also designed this one.
Your guide to the truth, thenewamericanmedia.com.
So there's that. The same guy that designed the Unhappy Hour logo, the Unhappy Hour sports show that I did later turn into a literal neon sign from this, which is super cool. And the guy that designed the New American Media logo, I connected my cheesecake guy. I have a cheesecake guy. Trying to brainstorm and collaborate and try to help this guy get up off the ground. I like doing that. I like helping other podcasters figure out how to do. I like helping. I like giving back. I like teaching and mentoring and helping and whatnot, and partnering. But the guy that made our logos, he made Cheesecakes by Battle. He had like an idea for like a crest of arms, like a European crest with like some swords. Like we went through a bunch of different designs, and I eventually stopped having opinions and backed away. Let the two handle their business. Because yeah, too many cooks in the kitchen, it'll spoil the cheesecake. But anyway, he's got a cheesecake up there, a cheesecake company now called Cheesecakes by Battle. It's very successful. It's growing. Check it out. Follow him on Facebook, Instagram, Cheesecakes by Battle, David Battle. Anyway, in the comments, you guys are talking about cheesecakes. And cheesecakes freeze and thaw out perfectly. They don't separate. They don't crumble. The texture doesn't change because it's baked and it's set. And that's part of how do you ship the cheesecakes was a big part of growing this company. So there's that. Cheesecakes frozen is fine. Anyway, let's keep it going. Oh, comments. Loving the 90s shirt. Is this a 90s shirt? It's a Cobain style, kind of Chris Cornell, Cobain kind of shirt. A little bit. Let's see. Sorry, there's a lot of comments. I don't know. I want to get caught up, but I think I just need to get caught up. Deb, good morning, Deb. Welcome. You're just now doing the intro. Wow, babbling Brian. Again. No, it's called a opening monologue. It's an opening monologue. I pontificate. They call it the weave. It's a wide weave. I know. In my head, I'm like, just get right to the intro, get it to the news. You got a lot of stuff you got to accomplish today. You don't need a marathon show, but part of the show is the off-the-cuff monologue, the connecting of the dots. I've said sometimes that songs write themselves. I remember when I wrote 3 Pointing Back, it just like, I heard the music and I ran upstairs and grabbed the lyric book. I'm like, that's this song. That's this. And then went and finished putting it together and working on it for a little while. Sometimes lyrics spill out of you and you go, I don't know where that came from. But that's why that's why I talk. I talk so I can sort of figure out what thoughts are bouncing around in my head. That's not to say that everything I say is always the only perspective on any topic. That's ridiculous. Many things can be true. You know, on the whole topic of religion. Oh, you got to respect other people's choice. Oh, it's a free country. Everybody has the right to. You know, you can have two opinions that it doesn't matter to me what version of a flying spaghetti monster in the sky you want to choose to root for. Maybe you're all wrong. Maybe I'm the only right one. Okay, whatever. Do your thing. Everybody can do their thing. But if your thing is forcing others to bend to your will and either pay you shakedown money, protection money, or deal with the mafia, deal with the mob, deal with the cartel, deal with Sharia, then that's crossed past the point of a free exercise of religion into conquest, domination, tyranny. And when you hear the atrocities of what's been happening in these Islamic supremacist countries, the people don't want this. And this is what Obama was pushing for 2 decades in conjunction with the deep state, with the military. It just everything was backward for the better part of 20 years. I hold the position that I'm fine with whatever it is you want to believe, as long as your belief does not require harming me if I don't buy into your bullshit. And that's sort of goes for anybody, anywhere, with anything. That's not just a one-on-one conversation with a Muslim and a Christian. Oh, this goes for the Jews. Oh, this goes for the Buddhists. Maybe not so much. But ideology matters. Community matters. Tradition matters. And you look across Europe, and the places in Europe have been absolutely overthrown. And what do you think is going to happen in a generation or two? What do you think is going to happen? What do you think the expansion plan is? Why? So you can hold multiple opinions at the same time, I think. All right. Let's dump the news out on the table, shall we? Bounce over to the Instagram. Real Brooklyn Patriot says some huge dude just tried to swing on Border Patrol and quickly got railroaded by agents. Video by Nick Sorter. Look at them laughing and dancing away like it's a joke. Democrats are begging for it. Guy's gigantic. You see this guy right here? They want this. They have to get people to push this so they can get their images, get it on video, get it on camera. Look, ICE are bad. Border agents are bad. Trump is bad. If people weren't filming, that officer-involved shooting would have been spun very differently, wouldn't it have been? Wouldn't it have been? So in some regards, we need video. And in other regards, it's the Simpsons Just Don't Look episode. Kenneth, you referenced the Simpsons a second ago. Which one Can I Buy a Feeling? Yeah. Milhouse's dad. The Bachelor. Can I Buy a Feeling? That's a great episode. Great. But the Just Don't Look episode, it's Treehouse of Horror. And the billboards, the big neon signs are coming to life. But then they realize, well, it's only going to happen if you pay attention to them. Stop paying attention to them and they're going to go away. Well, if you paid less attention to this, would this go away? I don't know the answer to it. I know that I've been out in the field a few times, and it's a weird, including J6. It's I don't know, man. There's a lot of stupid people doing stupid stuff right now, and I'm not a fan of it. I want to share with you real quick. Libs Meme Central put this out. We're big on preparedness. Follow our Facebook group. I don't advertise Facebook very often, but TNAM Preparedness. We are big proponents of making sure that you get prepared. So if you want to avoid getting shot by ICE, here's what you need to know. Don't run your car into them. I think a 100% track record so far. I just you're on a safari and there's a bunch of tigers and animals doing stuff out there. You want to jump out and run into it? Well, I have every right to. I'm observing. I am an observer of nature. You got no business being there. You just inserted yourself into a super dangerous situation, and you created the situation that led to your untimely demise. I find that sad. I find that to be unnecessary, really demonic by the Democrats who've been pushing for this. Like, it's their goal, it's their plan. It feels demonic. And just like a lot of people, whether it's someone trying to convince you you're born in the wrong body, you're not. You're in a perfect body, you're fine. You can work out and you can lift weights and you can make that body look better. You can have accidents with that body. You can get tattoos. You got a lot. You're fine. But people get convinced and people try to sell you on stuff and try to lead you astray. And I just feel like that lady that gave her life to cosplay as some sort of social justice warrior, it was bad advice, bad information that she received, bad advice to go out there and do that, bad group of friends encouraging that. You're playing stupid games and you're winning stupid prizes. I didn't want to see that. That agent who was involved didn't want that to happen, just like he didn't want to be dragged by a car 6 months ago and almost killed. Pretty sure we all just want to get home to our lives. If you say, well, that applies to the people that they're deporting. There's a front door to the nightclub. If you don't have your wristband because you don't belong here, go out, CBP home, and then come back in. Raise your hand, run the background check. Just because some other person propped the door open for you, that's not an excuse that gives you the right to stay. And you've been told for a year. Go on now, get. And that's not to say that anybody should be against immigration. But where are the assimilation requirements? You see Minnesota, 10 years in, almost everybody's taking. Not providing, not helping, not contributing to, taking. If you leave a bowl of candy out on Halloween and walk away without any oversight, I promise you that thing's going to be emptied pretty quick by somebody soon. But that's an important lesson there. If you want to avoid getting shot by ICE, don't run your car into them. I think that's good advice, is it not? What? No, I don't. I've watched a couple links. Oh no, Tony Evans and Danette, are you on X? Can you send the links on X? Are those the pastors you're talking about? Going through, trying to get caught up on comments now. Time for martial law? I mean, we're quickly approaching this. I mean, let's see. Will Tim Waltz and Jeremy Frey be indicted and arrested? I know. That is sort of what they want, though, and that'll be their trap. But they've been out there calling Trump a Nazi and a tyrant and a dictator and Gestapo for 9 years now. It not only gets old, but it obviously leads to repercussions like what we saw. And what we saw was this. If you missed it yesterday, I'm not going to dwell on it today. I had to sort of get it out of my system yesterday. This is the lady that was, according to some reports, following ICE around, impeding with their investigations all day long. That's obstruction with law enforcement. Like there's a pile of criminal acts involved there. But here's what it was.
Oh, would you look at this?
Yeah, well...
Would you look at that?
Yeah, there's a few more blemishes on the car.
Oh my gosh, just look at it.
The car is not perfect.
Just look at it.
Did you ever see that interview about looking at the car? Oh, would you look at this?
Just look at it.
Yeah, well...
What the heck
But yeah, that car clearly hit
is
somebody.
that? Oh, would you look at this?
Yeah, well...
Would you look at that?
Yeah, there's a few more blemishes on the car.
Oh my...
You need to make sure that this angle is the one that you look at, because the other one, it's a little unclear. This is why you don't go. It's the rule of stupid. You don't go stupid places with stupid people doing stupid things. That's why I'm not a huge fan of on the ground stuff. Stupid places, stupid people, stupid things. Hang on, are we bringing up a Fievel Goes West? We're in the mousetrap? Explain that. I haven't read that in a while. Fievel, yeah. Anyway, just make sure you...
My gosh, just look at it.
The car is not perfect.
Just look at it. Just look at it.
Yeah, well...
What the heck?
Yeah, I mean, he approached the vehicle and he was at the corner, but he was still in harm's way, and she gunned it right at him. So, I don't really have much to say on it. But we can say this, can't we? This was the number one. I had such a hard time that Charlie Kirk day, because this was the number one story in the media. You want your George Floyd moment? This was it. Irina Zarutska, minding her own business, demure. Not harming a soul in the world. A young woman is attacked in Cade going about her day, and there was no outrage from the left. They didn't tell you this story. They weren't out in the streets screaming. Why are white women getting attacked by black men in such a disproportionate rate across this country? Media didn't give you that the way they did with George Floyd. Oh, white cop abusing a black man. Non-stop, all day, every day. For the better part of a year. Another woman. So a young woman was attacked in Cade going about her day, and there was no outrage. But there's another woman who makes a criminal choice that puts an officer's life in danger, and the streets are full. Proportionately speaking, which one deserves more moral outrage and injustice? Calls for justice and just calling out evil. And the deep state Democrats, they just keep pushing whichever version makes them look the best and get as much power as possible. They have zero interest in making sure this country is successful and safe. Zero interest. Their main interest is power and control. That's it. This was the most heartbreaking. I didn't want to see George Floyd overdose or have a panic attack or a heart attack. I didn't want to see that. I didn't want that to happen. And if that other cop door was closed, he would have been placed in the back of the cop car and taken to the precinct where he would have had his overdose, his fentanyl, his heart attack, his panic attack moment in custody there and at the hospital there. We would have never known his name. One little clip of video can look completely damning. Then you can actually ask questions and say, well, how was this officer trained? And there are piles of people who say the training shown on that video to put your knee at the neck, shoulder, back area right there on a subject. That's what we were trained to do. So if you want to blame the training and say they shouldn't be doing that, I'm open to improvements. I'm obviously open to improvements. I said, if you have somebody that's having a freak out and won't stay in the back of the cop car once placed there, which is how he got on the ground to begin with, he was already arrested and put in the car. But you never saw the full video. You never got any damn context to at least understand how we ended up with a snapshot. Oh, the image is burned into my brain. You need to have the whole movie burned into your brain. You need to have the whole, oh my gosh, ICE just shot this random woman. How did she get involved in this situation? Was she doing a strong arm robbery of a liquor store? No. Was she stealing money by going to a bodega and taking items but only leaving fake $20 bills behind to steal from the store? Did she swallow wads of fentanyl? No, but she was following ICE around all day, trying to act like judge, jury, and executioner of what will and will not happen in her city. Her city that's been overtaken in a hostile takeover, a coup, in conjunction with the Democrats and the Somalis and others. It's not just Minneapolis, it's Columbus, Ohio. It's not just Columbus, Ohio. Look at every big city. Look at California. Look at New York. Go. But this young woman is going about her day, brutally ended on the subway for no reason. And then another woman has plenty of reasons, many criminal decisions that put her into a horrible scenario. And then her reckless actions, whether she intended to hit the officer or was trying to get around a car and avoid it doesn't matter. Well, I was aiming in that direction. I wasn't trying to shoot the officer. I was trying to shoot the apple on his head. You got to let me get that. You got to let me pull the trigger on that one, bro. That's like police abuse. Libertarians, man. Police state, dude. You got to let them shoot that apple off your head because they might not have been aiming at you. It's not how this works. And I got libertarian-leaning people in my life that I'm disappointed in, confused by, shocked at their opinions on this. But it's about balance. Like, where do we choose to grant a little bit of leeway? Does everything President Trump do? Does everything that he does? That doesn't sound right. Does everything require an ultra microscope, an ultra high profile microscope to instantly and always try to find fault and stop? Or a little bit of leeway? Well, that cop, he's fired 3 times. The first one, yeah, he was in front, but then he was like kind of a little on the side diagonal, those other 2. Throw him in jail for life where he can get shanked like Derek Chauvin did. ICE agents being threatened, harassed, doxxed, attacked. That doesn't seem right if your goal is to defend this nation. What is this? You're saying we're in the mousetrap with ICE inciting rifts. We're so close to civil unrest, many people will fall for it, and then we're done. Digital IDs and currency. See, I don't agree. I don't see ICE causing the rift. I see 40 million people snuck into the nightclub. They're the ones that caused the civil unrest. It's not the bouncer's fault for bouncing. Well, get out of the way. You have no right to do that. Those are my friends. Oh, so you're complicit. Maybe I'll kick you out of the club too. But it's about balance. If the woman who gunned her vehicle at the ICE agent has elicited more outrage than Irina Zarutska, say her name. Then I think something's wrong. I think one of these is a little more senseless and anger-inducing than the other.
Right.
Streets are a weird place, man. Real Brooklyn Patriot shared this. A black man in Seattle is going viral. Well, maybe I'll just let you watch this. I guess you have a street preacher here. And then you got this guy. Well, and then someone comes in from the back, and you'll watch it play out, and then I'll give you some context. Just, I feel like letting you watch it would be good first. This is Seattle.
So I pray for him. I don't understand what he's going through right now.
Jesus Christ,
but I call his name.
From putting the back
I
of your
ask
head
Jesus
on
Christ
the back of the fucking deck, sir.
for him to relax. I rebuke all demons
Jesus
and
Christ
the devil.
is not going to help you.
I rebuke the devil.
Absolutely blasted. This black man comes down here with his skateboard and blasts the face of a leftist who is harassing a street preacher and threatening his life simply for praying for him. And the problem is, in these street events, they play music, so they try to get the copyright claim so you can't share the video. That's their tactic. YouTube is complicit in this. They have to be well aware that one of the tactics is to have music going so that your content will get flagged if you try to share it as a means to protect them.
I rebuke thee. Christ, I pray for him. I don't understand what he's going through right now.
Jesus Christ,
but I call his name.
From putting the back
I
of your
ask
head
Jesus
on
Christ
the back of the fucking deck, sir.
for him to.
He was saying Jesus effing Christ is not going to stop me from putting your head on the back of the deck, sir. Very clearly saying, where's your Messiah now? Wake him. I gotta work on my Clancy. Wake him. And this dude comes in and says, shut the F up and mind yo business. He asked you several times to leave him alone.
To relax. I rebuke all demons
Jesus
and
Christ
the devil.
is not going to help you.
I rebuke the devil.
That was something else. Wholesome content comment. I mean, it really did look like the dude took once. Yeah, that guy's guardian angel right there. That guy did just threaten his life. Jesus Christ is not going to stop me from slamming your head onto the back of the, I called it the deck. I don't know if he meant a skateboard deck or if he means the deck of the boat, the ground. And he's praying for him, and he's getting threatened, and dude just steps in. Bang! He told you several times to leave him alone. I don't know where people think you have a right to start fights now. It's a very stupid, dangerous idea that's being pushed. And without indictments, and without indictments fast, and without more support troops there to arrest and daisy chain people to trees or lampposts, you just cuff them, set them aside. You do a zip tie. You just zip them up and strain them up. You leave them there. You leave them out there. And you show everybody else. Look at all the people we're daisy chaining and arresting together. You want to be next? Let's be next. I'll arrest every one of you here. And do it. Jacob Frey, Tim Waltz. How much more do you need? How long is it going to take? They are big scared and they are big mad right now because they've been found out. And you are seeing this guy's out here praying. He said too much music.
I rebuke thee.
I rebuke thee.
Jesus
I don't understand
Christ
what he's going through right now.
Jesus Christ.
But I
is not
call
gonna
his
stop
name.
Me from putting the back
I
of your
ask
head
Jesus
on
Christ
the back of the fucking deck, sir.
for him to relax. I rebuke all demons
Jesus
and
Christ
the devil.
is not going to help you.
And right there, he takes a step forward at him right as this guy's coming to see if he needs help. He does start encroaching upon him right there with that right foot. He takes that first step, and then he veers off to the side, almost like he's not going to get up in this guy's face. But I think that one step was enough for him to go, you are not getting any closer.
I rebuke the devil.
Because that one step even swung around on a big swing. And went close to him and then off to the side. Just, I'm not saying I condone this. I'm not saying I don't, but did you find that satisfying in the comments? Yes, Deb, apparently from San Francisco today. Says, did you just say daisy chain? Oh my God, that's totally a gay term. So many angles I could approach this from. How do I don't want to approach it from any of these angles. When you say, why am I getting drawn into this conversation? When you say gay, do you mean like guys or like girls gay? Or is gay not gay? Lesbian's lesbian, but lesbian's not gay. But lesbian is gay, but gay is gay, but gay is boy and boy. Either way, the term is for both lesbians and gay men. Not just gay guys. It's also for gay girls. Daisy chain, okay. Good grief. It's also a electric term. You daisy chain things together. So a necklace or a garland made by threading daisies together, stem to stem. Tech electrical computers, this is most common modern use. Wiring devices in a series. Connecting monitors via Thunderbolt DisplayPort, SCSI drives, power strips, and MIDI instruments, or Ethernet hubs so data power passes from one to the next. Reduces cabling but can create single points of failure. There are finance terms where illegal stock manipulations have a group of trades the same shares amongst themselves to fake volume and inflate prices, similar to pump and dump. And then your slang is the fourth version here. So we don't need to get into the human centipede kind of stuff. So let's just move along. Wow. That's called taking a detour, folks. That you never know what you're going to find here on the TNAM Daily Show. So hit like, hit subscribe, I suppose. If you want more incredible content like the one you just witnessed, hit like, hit subscribe. Wow. All right, let's share this tab instead. Moving on to our X feed at American_media_. Hit like, hit subscribe. This is our Patreon page. If you like the content of the show, hit like, hit subscribe, go to the Patreon and sign up to be like a $10 monthly member, $100 monthly member, $1,000 monthly member. A little bit of donation goes a long way here at the New American Media. Thank you, everybody who has signed up for the donation versions. And thank you to the people who have signed up for the free versions. At least go there and link up for the free version of Patreon. I think you need to sign up for an account. I think that's how it works. Regardless, just go do it. It'll just take a minute. Patreon, the New American Media. All right, let's talk about Scott Adams a little bit here. Here is Scott. Mr. Scott Adams. Mike Cernovich. interviewed Cerno a couple of times. Check it out. Type Cernovich Engelman in YouTube or Rumble. Actually, I don't know that I've uploaded all the old YouTube stuff onto Rumble yet. I really should have done that a long time ago. Oh, well, is what it is. But yeah, type in Cernovich Engelman. I interview him. Is he in the intro to the show? I think he is. I think he's on the TNAM intro. Anyway, Mike Cernovich makes a point. He's a very good writer, a documentary filmmaker as well, which is fine. I went to one of the premieres of one of his documentaries. We interviewed Fleckus there. We met up with Anomaly after. That is what I liked about LA, is just everything was kind of together around. You could meet up, you could go to things. Everybody eventually ended up in and out of LA. And I do miss that. I do like that. So Mike Cernovich here, let me, it won't work that way. Mike Cernovich says, Scott Adams facing death shows us how to live. Someone recommended How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big by Scott Adams. I had burned out on mainstream books, but picked it up and was hooked. He had put into words a way of living similar to one I had found, except his approach was systemic and analytical. Better than my own slapdash notes. Outside of religious texts, Adams was and is as close to a guide to life as you'll ever find. And even if you're religious, you still live in this world and would be wise to learn how to navigate it. Scott is closing in on the end of his life, and even now he is creating new beginnings. I'd better write this now. I won't be able to when it's too late. After losing Charlie Kirk, a lot of us are wondering how we can possibly write another obituary. While there's much to complain about the internet and social media, those mediums expanded the sizes of our communities, our influences, and indeed our families. Too often we find new ways to hate people instead of finding new people to love. Scott Adams comes up in conversation at every social event I host. How is Scott Adams doing? Will he make it? We all talk about streams we watched and lessons learned. It's a memorial, except he's still alive. Scott would love to hear that, which is why I have said so repeatedly. I've lost too many people via death or fallings out to leave feeling unexpressed. He's been a surrogate father figure and a mentor to millions of people. Scott Adams is not liked, he is loved. People don't like Scott Adams. They aren't a fan of his. They love this man, as I do as well. I'm still living in denial of his fate, and we all are. We'd been making a film about the meaning of life, and while Scott Adams had been in both of our other films, we hadn't booked him for meaning yet. Then we found out he was going to take the ride of assisted suicide. Foolishly, we had assumed he'd always be around. Nobody ever dies, right? Your dad will be there to take your call the next time you phone home. Your friends aren't going anywhere. That's how we too often live. You could book Scott later. We reached out and he graciously agreed to be interviewed. We all knew it was going to be our last interview together. Scott and I are both efficient with our time. When a moment is over, it's time to go do something else. Obligations call. And the crew pushed this one as long as we could. After the interview wrapped up and the gear was packed and it was time to go, there was an awkward pause. I broke it. Scott, we love you. He said, thank you. No, Scott, we love you. I mean it. We all do. We love you. None of us broke down crying. Not that there would have been any shame in that, but we no doubt all soon will. Well then, what is the lesson of Scott Adams? On a practical level, the lesson of Scott Adams is the power of showing up. Nobody works harder and on a more regular schedule. You can set your clock to Scott's show. Too many of us wait for the muse of inspiration or the jolt of information to force us into action. Work every day, maybe in obscuring and without tangible benefits for years. Eventually, you'll hit your mark and go beyond. Wow. That part. Jeez. Yeah, I've been on the most regular schedule of consistent programming in the history of the new American media. It's always been a passion project, a labor of love, something I've done, something I've always done on the side, something I've wanted to get big, something that has gotten big on moments, occasions, interviews, videos. You get your pops, you have your moments. Mike Cernovich says, too many of us wait for the muse of inspiration or the jolt of information to force us into action. Work every day, maybe in obscuring and without tangible benefits for years. Eventually, you'll hit your mark and go beyond. Scott plugged away with his streams from a small account after a huge career via Dilbert and soon became must-watch, and then transcended his role to becoming something much more. On a spiritual level, we might ask, why do we love Scott? It's not because he's so smart, but he is. There are not a shortage of intelligent, clever, Machiavellian, and rich people with podcasts. When one of them dies, what is lost? All of that ego and desire for adoration. And does anybody even care? When those people fall while living, who will be there? Scott is loved because he's devoted his life to service to humanity. What's the meaning of life is the question we ask every interviewee. And Scott's answer, be useful to humanity. How about that? Be useful to humanity. David's saying, let's get him in a med bed now. Miracles do happen. Power of prayer. Hey, peeps in the comments, would you type out a sentence or two or three? Type out a prayer for Scott, please. I'd like to read them. But I like that phrase right there. Be useful to humanity. I like to think, well, I choose to act as if the new American media is useful to humanity. I love you, humans. I do. You're humans, I love you. Humanity, I love you. I don't like bullies abusing people. Political bullies, religious bullies, financial bullies. I just don't like bullies. I don't like bullies. Maybe that is the way of the world, and that's what makes the world go around, but it doesn't mean I need to like it, and it doesn't mean I need to support it, and it doesn't mean that I'm going to go along with something if it's just a bunch of bullying and abuse and violence and force and threat. I don't particularly care for it. Be useful to humanity. I've always tried to cover stories that aren't being reported properly, stories that need more attention. Try to be interesting in the process, sometimes even fun. Speaking of fun, did you tell me in the comments? If so, tell me again. Did you watch my impression of Bobby Kennedy yesterday? I did a standalone video. I might play it. But you know, be useful to humanity. I want to leave I dated a girl who talked about dating she was telling a story of dating this guy and, you know, whatever, and it didn't work out or turn into this and that. Okay. But, you know, she said, I left him in a better place. I helped him get some things on track. I always like to leave people in a better place than I found them. You know, this world's fucking weird. Jesus Christ himself is like, hey, we should love humans. Get him. String him up. You're like, what? Will a single show go by without me mentioning this is the ghetto Brian. I was yelled at and sworn at because I found my community and was painting the peeling paint, the stucco ripping off. We were repairing the building, making the grass green, planting plants and flowers in the flower beds, replacing dangerous, broken, sharp metal mailboxes you couldn't reach into without getting a big gash on your hand. All I tried to do was make things better than how I found them. And I received a bunch of grief for that. Forgive me for making things better than how I found it. And that's what that girl said. She was just like, you know, I left him in a better place. He was better off when I left. I like to leave people better off than I found them. I was like, huh. We dated for a bit. And it really is it. Be useful. Do something. Leave the place a little better than you found it. I went and worked. I helped a neighbor under the guise of it being employment. Dude still owes me $400. That's you know, it all counts. It all adds up or it all doesn't. Speaking of which, Rumble rants and super chats out there, everybody. First time watchers, be aware of such things. Thank you for being here. Hit like, hit subscribe. But I went and did the work. I was helping this dude hang and install garage doors. And on the construction sites, and I know a little bit about construction sites. My good friend growing up, his dad built the neighborhood that we moved into. And he had paid me on occasions to go, I'll give you $20 if you go sweep this place up or something. Go pick up all the screws, the nails, put them in a bag or a jar or something, sweep everything else up. Just clean it up. Leave it better than how you found it. There's a part of our community outside. Well, number one, I played a key role in talking to the city planner so that we could get our roads replaced. They were dilapidated, falling apart, and we got that fixed. Some streetlight issues out there, we got that fixed. Some common area space that we've made look really nice over the years because you make things look better than the way you found them. I don't know if God can be summed up in a bumper sticker. But I think trying to be of service, trying to be useful, and trying to leave things better than you found them, I feel like that's the golden rule. That's it. That's what God should want to see. You see some injustice, you try to stop. But the Democrats have tried to turn common sense bouncer tactics from ICE into those evil things that you must be called to stop. They're twisting and warping the reality of what's going on. Because not everybody shares those values of making things better than how you found it. Some pirate communities try to steal everything that they can. Every piece of candy out of that Halloween jack-o'-lantern, that plastic Halloween jack-o'-lantern on your front step. So anyway, be useful. Be useful to humanity, is what Cernovich says, Scott says. Scott is loved because he's devoted his life to service and humanity. What's the meaning of life is the question we ask every interviewee. And Scott's answer, be useful to humanity. Despite pain, sickness, and inevitable death, Scott is doing his daily streams, serving his country and all of humankind until his end. He's a light to the world and a mirror for all of us. What exactly are we doing with the gift of life given to us by God? Scott believes in the simulation, but I believe God evens this all out in the judgment. Are we doing enough for others? Are we doing anything for others? Like everyone else, I'm capable of throwing myself a pity party. Sometimes when life is going too well and I don't have any real problems, I invent some. And that's where the ego brings you. Recursively worshiping itself. And when that fails, tormenting itself as each path leads to its own attention. May all of us live more like Scott Adams, and may God bless his immortal soul when he passes. Immortal soul. May all of us live more like Scott Adams, and may God bless his immortal soul when he passes. P.S. I ran this article through Grok for typos. The original version had immoral. Oh my God! Look at that! That just happened to me. Holy shit. I didn't read this before the episode. Or before today's, I didn't, before this segment. May all of us live more like Scott Adams, and may God bless his immortal soul when he passes. Oh, this is awesome. Cernovich ends, P.S. I ran this article through Grok for typos. The original version had immoral soul, where I meant it to read immortal. I think Scott would have had a great laugh at that had that typo been left in. I think we're all having a laugh because it's happened in, as I said it, I don't say that word out loud very often. And in fact, here, I'll play it for you just because why not? Not that it's, well, just whatever. Here, I'm gonna, because I did my segment yesterday. And as I was doing it, a word came out wrong. I didn't go back and fix it. I just figured if I don't hurry up and release this, I'm not going to do it. This thing is so, am I really going to do this? But I pronounced a word incorrectly. See if you can pick up which word I pronounced incorrectly. Share this tab instead. Here we go. As Secretary of Health and Human Services, my message to the American people is clear. Eat real food. Jamie, can you pull up the graphic that we put together? Everybody, this is the new food pyramid. If you notice at the top of this list, you're going to see protein, dairy, and healthy fats, along with vegetables and fruits. You have some salmon, some avocados, and some additional dairy, but whole grains are going to be at the bottom. You don't really want to focus too much on the whole grains sprayed with God knows what, wreaking havoc on your digestive tract. But you have to focus on real foods. Additionally, speaking of pyramids, they've said that honey has lasted since time immemorial for thousands of years and is edible. We're going to have our best people looking if that honey should be added to this list. Thank you. Maha out. Had I overthought that, I would have never released that. So 2 things there. I said digestive tract, but I obviously wanted to say digestive tract. And I didn't even really fully explain the pyramid, that they found honey, thousands of year old honey. That's like the legend. They found honey from thousands of years ago and it's still edible. I didn't even do the bit properly. It's because I didn't really have it worked out. I just thought of it on the spot and said, I'm just going to do it. Yes, digestive tract. That's exactly what it was. The food pizza. But yeah, multiple typos of words, multiple screw ups on that. I think I tried it twice. I had to figure, because you got to click start and then you get 3-second countdown. Then you got to switch the screen because you got to pull it up. Anyway. Yeah, that's part of the message. If you wait until you're ready, you'll never do anything because nobody's ever really ready, right? Strange History X says many fans are hoping Scott Adams returns to his daily podcast today. And he is doing something today. I don't know if it was pre-recorded or not, but he's doing something today with a bunch of guests. Strange History X says many fans are hoping Scott Adams returns to his daily podcast tomorrow, and I completely understand that longing. He has become a meaningful part of our routines. 10 a.m. Eastern wouldn't feel the same without his voice, his insights, and that familiar, simultaneous sip. People are emotional today. We're grieving the loss and processing what it means. This morning, he offered us a gentle goodbye, saying something akin to "the cat is on the roof," a quiet signal that his life is winding down. We all desperately want to hear from him again, but we have to ask, how much more can he endure? And how much more can we expect of him? How many farewells should one man have to give? 1 more? 3? 10? Perhaps that precious hour he has shared with us for years should now fully belong. I'm saying this backwards again. Should now belong fully to his close friends, his family, his cats, and his own peace. He has more than earned that rest. We are incredibly fortunate to have heard his goodbyes directly from him. It could have come suddenly and silently, as it does for so many. Why the urge for one more live stream? Is it truly for connection or morbid curiosity? Scott fell asleep multiple times in the pre-show. I was there. I saw it. He could barely stay awake. Do fans want to watch him nod off on camera in front of the world and then wait for someone in the household to step in and check on him? Or worse, do they want to watch the moment he drifts off and doesn't return? Hasn't he already given us more than enough? Yes, we all crave one more chance to see and hear Scott Adams, but this man has fought the good fight with extraordinary courage and grace. It's time for Odysseus to sail home and find rest. The war is over. He won. He deserves to be left in peace. All that being said, we shall all find out tomorrow morning what choice he has made for us and himself. Agenda 47 gave us a daily reminder to pray for Scott Adams, Dilbert reborn once he was dropped by all of his publishers. It's a 3-panel thing here. It says, everyone, this is Ken. It's his first day of work. Then it shows the building and says, all right, the agenda for this pre-meeting is to discuss the DEI and ESG implications of LGBTQ and POC intersectionality. Cut to the final frame. Now it's 2 people instead of 3. Is that Dilbert on the left? Goes, and he's gone. Why does this keep happening? Why does this keep happening? Good point, Deb. If I wait until I'm ready, I'll never do a Tucker Carlson laugh. I need to recalibrate. I need to sit down and listen to Tucker. And if Scott's not going to be doing podcasts, maybe I'll have time for some Tucker. I just generally find a couple of clips. He's not like a regular daily listen. I just want to pick out some of his mannerisms and pick on a couple of things. Otherwise, I'm just doing an impression of other people doing an impression of him, which is kind of fine. But also, like, I think we need to find our own inspiration for some of them. But I'll keep Tucker on the radar. All right. Checking. It's hard to keep up with comments, people. I'm trying, but I'm failing. I asked you to put prayers in, and I saw some, and now I can't find them. But yeah, prayers up for Scott. Let's keep it moving. 3 days ago now, Scott Adams retweeted this, and he just said, it's so well worded, read it all. I guess since January 6th, 2001. It's been 5 years now. Half a decade. Scott's been doing his show for about a decade. So half of the time that Scott's been doing this, he's been trying to make sense of J6. I was there with the New American Media. We wanted to see what was happening. And it was so manipulated by the Democrats. They just twist everything into... I just cannot stand the way Democrats do what they do. Why do they have to be this way? Why are you the way that you are? Michael Scott once said to Toby in an episode of The Office, right? Why are you the way that you are? Or something close to that. The White House put this out, and Scott Adams thought it was good. He says, so well worded, read it all. So here we go. Since January 6, 2021, Nancy Pelosi spent over 3 years and nearly $20 million in taxpayer funds on her partisan select committee, producing a scripted TV spectacle to fabricate an insurrection narrative and pin all the blame on President Trump. Wow. Kind of feels like what we're watching in Minneapolis, trying to pin the blame on ICE for what you guys are doing. You're dying to sacrifice somebody up as a martyr. You don't care. You just need some chaos so you can try to pin the tail on the donkey, it seems. Continuing, the White House says, video and audio recordings, including unaired HBO footage from her own daughter, show Nancy Pelosi repeatedly acknowledging responsibility for the catastrophic security failures, admitting we have totally failed, and I take full responsibility for not having the National Guard pre-deployed, despite intelligence warnings and President Trump's offers of troops that were ignored under her leadership as Speaker. The Democrats masterfully reversed reality after January 6, branding peaceful patriotic protesters as insurrectionists. See, that's what I want to do. That's the part, Deb. That's the part where, like, if I were listening to Tucker, like, that's the one thing he'd insurrectionists. He loves changing his voice up to like highlight words and then laughing through it. I know I could do it really well, but I haven't listened to it long enough to have muscle memory to just let it rip. But right there, I'm reading it as branding peaceful patriotic protesters as insurrectionists and framing the event as a violent coup attempt or orchestrated by Trump, despite having no evidence of armed rebellion or intent to overthrow the government. In truth, it was the Democrats who staged the real insurrection by certifying a fraud-ridden election, ignoring widespread irregularities, weaponizing federal agencies to hunt down dissenters, all while Pelosi's own security lapses invited the chaos they later exploited to seize and consolidate power. This gaslighting narrative allowed them to persecute innocent Americans, silence opposition, and distract from their own role in undermining democracy. And because I said that, I am forced under duress to put on the screen that if you want to go get countervailing views on anything regarding COVID or the 2020 election, go to cdc.gov, who.int, and cisa.gov/rumor control to get countervailing views. Go get your countervailing views there. I tell you this under duress because they are trying to force us into not talking about this, and that's been their plan all along. Thank God we escaped it for a minute, but if we don't go as fast as we can right now, I mean, it's got to be all hands on deck, get everything done as soon as possible. Go, 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 go. And Scott Adams thinks it's important, so do I. Let's show you some footage here. Breaking, U.S. Southern Command releases a video showing a pre-dawn operation led by Marines and sailors from Joint Task Force Southern Spear, seizing an oil tanker in the Caribbean Sea. It's Caribbean. The tanker is accused of being part of a shadow fleet of ships who are evading or attempting to evade U.S. sanctions. Sanctions don't work if you let them get away with it. The protesters, the totally astroturfed protesters of the deep state Democrats, will continue if you don't arrest them. Arrest them. Link them together. Handcuffed hands to handcuffed hands. Pack them and stack them, nuts to butts. Doesn't matter. Whatever. You just have a long chain and just link them to the every 5 feet. Link another person. Just do a huge long swath of chain and just hold them right there. Like, we'll deal with you in a minute. We'll get you handcuffed, and we're gonna check all your pockets. And we're gonna leave you there. And we're going to keep arresting. We're going to arrest every last one of you. It's not to say arrest every last person who wants to protest. We have a right to protest. We don't have a right to get in the middle of the street and block traffic and then impede a federal investigation. You arrest those people. You commandeer their vehicles. And you just take your time. Take as much time as you need. But if you need more forces, you need to have more forces. And they're begging for a Crispus Attucks moment. Oh, those lousy lobster sons of bitches, they said. Those upstart ragamuffin colonists chucking snowballs, ice balls, rocks at the British troops until there was a Crispus Attucks moment where a man was shot, and that was the shot heard round the world. That's what the Democrats are trying to rob Reiner right now. They're trying to produce a Hollywood orchestrated thing, a flashpoint. If you can just close your eye and see the white officer in Minneapolis with his knee suffocating, breaking the neck, breaking the throat of George Floyd. That didn't happen, but that's what people think they saw. Can you see it? Tiananmen Square. Holding up, didn't you have a suitcase? You're holding a suitcase and your hands up. You got to get the visual. Trayvon Martin, you got to have the hoodie. Got to get the Miami Heat to all put their hoods up. Because it's totally cool to jump people and ground and pound them and try to kill them, crack their skull open on the concrete. It's attempted murder, and you have every right to defend yourself against that. You got to get the visual, right? That's what they're trying to create. They want their Crispus Attucks moment. They're trying to provoke, sort of like you said, Danette, they want their civil war. So don't give it to them. Deb says, ragamuffin, LOL, I haven't heard that word in a fortnight. Consarn it. So anyway, these sanctions only work if you enforce it. Law and order only works if you enforce it. So start fucking enforcing it. What are you doing? Just person after person, and leave them out there. Leave them chained. Let them see. Do you want to get... You're getting arrested. Everybody here that's causing a problem is getting arrested. You're all being filmed right now. We're going to get you arrested. You're causing problems fucking around. We don't want another person to end up in a horrible decision-making scenario like we had a couple days ago. We don't want to see somebody else get hurt, but the Democrats do. The Democrats don't just want to see someone get hurt. The Democrats need to see someone get hurt. So yes, the sanctions on any nation trying to use political might to draw to a close ongoing Russian-Ukrainian hostilities, to draw to a close Venezuelan this or that. You use leverage, you sanction, you choke oil supply. These are all tactics of the military. But if you let them get away with their shadow fleet, oh, you can't find me. Oh, you're chasing me now. Oh, yep, I'm going to fly a Russian flag now. Whoop, you caught me. Whoop, Transformers, more than meets the eye. So, right, what do you got? Oh, what are you going to do? Yeah, comedy. So now, U.S. Southern Command is taking the shadow fleet of ships who are evading the U.S. sanctions. They're not going to be pushed around and ignored anymore. So were they getting pushed around and ignored? Or was the deep state in on it? Out there in the wrestling ring, we're going to pretend to be enemies. I'm going to go out. I'm going to yell some stuff. I'm going to come back and I'm going to, okay. And then afterward, like Jesse Ventura said, and I ain't got time to bleed, we'd go backstage afterward. Good guy, bad guy, doesn't matter. You shower up, change your clothes, sit down. You're eating a nice steak dinner, having a martini, cheersing your rival. Does the deep state really want to end the war in Ukraine, or they want to keep it going? Do they really need to take Russia out, or they need to keep it going? Military-industrial complex, do they want peace, or do they need war? You have to take into consideration what people need. And you got to consider the leverage of the sanction. Consider the leverage of law and order. In Minneapolis, or pick your city, now the Democrats are saying, we need you to do this nationwide. Get out there in your blue states, your blue cities. They're begging for a George Floyd 2.0. They're begging for it. And we, the people, are fucking sick of it. We watched the Democrats burn America down. The Minnesota Freedom Fund, Kamala Harris, they were fundraising to get money to bail out violent brown shirts. They're violent thugs that they set upon America to burn the cities down, to try to make Trump look bad somehow. As if Trump is training the Minneapolis police, as if Trump put fentanyl into George Floyd's mouth and passed fake money off, stealing from the store that led to the initial arrest call. That had nothing to do with Trump. But the Democrats had nothing going for them, so they said, we got to seize upon this. Let's go. So at a time when they're trying to shut the world down, take your jobs away. I went from having 2 jobs on Friday or on Sunday to having no jobs on Monday. A full-time and a part-time, both gone. Oh, everybody needs to quarantine. Everybody stay away. It's keep 6 feet at all times. Cover your mouth up. But by the way, let's put hundreds of thousands of people marching together, burning the cities down. That made no sense. That never made any sense. Oh, COVID's so brutal. It's so bad. Oh, it's a scourge on humanity. You better stay away. We need to transfer all of our money to our corporate powers and to shut down all the mom and pop businesses. Power and control. Stay away. COVID's so bad. Psst. Also, tens of millions of people. Come on in. No COVID checks, no masks. Don't worry. Just dump yourself into the country. No measles, no mumps, rubella. Just come on in. Bring your third world disease with you. Come on in. Hold on. You're inviting tens of millions of people to invade the country with zero cares about spreading COVID, but you've kicked us out of the military for not taking your forced injection? Really? Really? That's what the Democrats are up to. That's what they've always been up to. That's what they're about. That's in their DNA. They're tyrants. And so in our quest to become ideologically pure, we find ourselves splintering, fracturing. That's how you get a Ross Perot running in 1992, taking 5%, 8%, 10%. He was polling at 20 or 30% before he dropped out. That's how you splinter the Republican vote and get Bill Clinton. And the rest, as they say, is history. MAGA's divided right now. Dan Bongino's back into yapping. He's out of the Justice Department. Or where was he at? The FBI? Assistant Director of the FBI? Was that his title? Something like that. Candace Owens, Charlie Kirk, anything Israel. Rah, 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 rah. Splintering, dividing, while the Democrats are coalescing. They're combining And they're getting violent. They're getting angry. This is bad. We all see this slow motion car crash coming a mile away. Whether it's Scott Adams, saying goodbye, and we all see it coming day after day after day. We're seeing that this is going to end very poorly if we don't get some control. Now, if you say to me, I sound just like an Iranian dictator needing control, it's not the same. These Democrats are trying to push their overthrow, their coup again. We watched the grand conspiracy in 2020. Go to cisa.gov/rumor control for countervailing views. cdc.gov, who.int, by the way. Go get your countervailing views there. I don't want to tell you that because you're an adult and we should be allowed to have any conversation that we want, but other people might disagree. It's the game we got to play. But doesn't seem like we're playing games with the military anymore. By the way, update, one of my co-hosts for my critically acclaimed sports show called Strictly Football here on the New American Media. Myself, Mike Barra, Jim Mitchell, and Ezrael Robinson. My co-host Izzy just got to meet, take pictures with, and shake hands with the Secretary of War himself, Pete Hegseth. He's enlisted. He's going to be joining shortly. And this is perhaps going to be the busiest military you've ever seen. Reconfiguring the entire game of Risk. And I'd say it's a good time to do so. Because the bad guys have been doing bad shit for far too long. And you grant General Washington a little bit of leeway. Yeah, but, he keeps losing battles. Yeah, I get it. The British have, they got a bit of a head start with weaponry, with funding, with power and might and strategic alliances. Yeah, they kind of have an advantage. I get it, yeah. You would expect them to be strong in the first quarter, but they didn't knock us out. They didn't knock us out. We got a few more rounds. We can do this boxing match. We got a few more rounds. Just drag it out. Izzy's a boxer too. So you stay on the boxing analogy. Hey. In the Revolutionary War, the Brits, they had an advantage. But we just fought. We fought and we kept fighting. We wouldn't accept no as an answer. And we'll see if the Iranian people accept no as an answer. And also, we're going to see how the rest of it shakes out. But there are a lot of strategic alliances and a recalibration that needs to happen. President Trump is just now out there saying instead of $1 trillion for the Defense Department, for the War Department, for the military, he wants $1.5 trillion. And I think he's saying, hey, enough money's coming in from the tariffs. We want to spend it on this type of stuff. And part of that is going to be trying to purchase Greenland. $100,000 per resident, buy them off, purchase it, and just say, hey, we want to manage this. We want to take it over, become our territory. You look on the globe and you see the strategic routes where all these tankers are going, these ghost fleets. You want to be able to maintain and patrol your hemisphere. You don't want people parking ICBMs and nuclear devices off your shores. You want to be in charge of what's happening around you. You don't want to be a spectator. You want to be the person in charge. And that's what Jimmy Carter, what a terrible legacy he left behind. Iran switching from a free democracy to being run by totalitarian Islamic supremacists, brutalizing their people, exporting terrorism across the globe. That's not good. Jimmy Carter, who signed away the Panama Canal that we built so that everybody in our hemisphere could benefit from, taking that back. Venezuela. I'll be damned if China, Iran, and Russia are going to park right off of the coast of Florida. I know it's not exactly right off the coast, but I mean, it's look on the map and zoom out and you're like, wow, that's close. For them to just constantly be sending boats full of poison to us to destroy our families. I mean, in the comments, question of the day, have you had to bury somebody to an overdose? Have you lost someone in your family or your community? Someone you went to school with, someone you worked with? It's not to say everything and every overdose is about fentanyl, and that's not to say everything from Venezuela was fentanyl related. But at some point, either you're part of the bad guy team getting rich off of killing Americans, or you're part of the good guy team and you're trying to keep this country safe and secure and healthy. Although, stay tuned, Venezuela may or may not have played a role in the 2020 election, as well as many others. Kenneth says no. If you haven't had somebody, that's good. At least one guy in my fantasy football league. I'll leave it at that. Anyway, yep. Let's get back to the news here. But we're finally enforcing sanctions, and I think we need to be enforcing clean protesting. When these mega protests get into law breaking, we need to have our rapid response teams ready to go. And Tim Walz mobilizing the National Guard, and sort of seems like he's trying to mobilize to fight ICE with his National Guard. Oh, these are the really stupid actions of a cornered rat. This is not good. This is not going to end well for Tim Walz. But you're seeing how it's lining up. We'll see if cooler heads prevail, but this oil tanker, by the way, Olina was the name of it, Olina in the Caribbean. Christy Nome here says the world's criminals are on notice. Let's see. Oh, did we miss the initial burst? Early this morning, U.S. Coast Guard executed a boarding and seizure of the motor tanker Olina in international waters east of the Caribbean Sea. As another ghost fleet tanker ship that's suspected of carrying embargoed oil, this vessel had departed Venezuela attempting to evade U.S. forces. Close coordination with the Department of War, State Department, and the Justice Department ensured a safe, effective boarding that's consistent with law. The ghost fleets will not outrun justice. They will not hide under false claims of nationality. The Coast Guard will seize sanctioned oil tankers, enforce U.S. and international law, and eliminate those funding streams for illicit activity, including narco-terrorism. We are deeply proud of the Coast Guard's maritime fighting force for their relentless execution of this mission. This is owning the seas. So keep your eyes peeled. Now, this is a picture of Magnus. Are they saying it was close to this size of Magnus? That's a lot of oil. Oof. Protesters, see, Tim Walz activated his radical Blue City copycat mimic Summer of Love rioters, stooges, agitators, pawns that they don't mind sacrificing to find their martyr. Colin Rugg shares this video from Freedom News. Protesters in New York City are calling for the hanging of Secretary Kristi Noem and the execution of ICE agents, and footage being shared by Scootercaster. One woman pushed back, saying 2 wrongs don't make a right, and was immediately drowned out. The mob also started chanting, F Charlie Kirk. Kristi Noem will hang, save a life, kill an ICE. F Charlie Kirk is what they said. Whoa.
If you need a
This is what you're up against, guys. This is who they are. They're telling you. Ah, good for her, yelling 2 wrongs don't make a right. Good fucking job, lady. Who said that?
It's necessary. By any means necessary, bitch.
Hey, you heard the anti-feminist right there. Do whatever's necessary, bitch. He yells at her.
It's necessary.
By any means necessary, bitch.
By any means necessary, bitch.
Yeah, they pretend to love women until they shut them down like that. When they tell you who they are, believe them.
I dedicate that one. I dedicate that one. Listen.
Okay, hold on. 2 wongs don't make great rice. Kenneth.
You don't gotta chant it if you ain't ready. But some of us are pissed off, aren't we?
Tell them right.
They're in the showers at prison, and they'll
We
get
got
what
someone
they
from the hands off crowd
deserve.
over here. I dedicate that one to Renee Good.
The domestic terrorist.
When I say Renee Nicole Good, you say presente.
Say what? They're trying to turn her into a martyr. They need to sacrifice. This is human sacrifice. This is Moloch. This is the Canaanites. This is Mayan temples. Playing that football stone ball through the hoop game. You play until someone wins, and by wins, you mean you get to get sacrificed or something like that. I've heard various versions of that. It's human sacrifice is what this is. They're trying to find their martyr. Because they're looking for an excuse for the purge. That's what's happening here. David saying the response teams are ready, and they have been since January 1st. Yes.
Renee Nicole Good. Renee Nicole Good. Just for the hell of it, one more chant, because the name of Dr. Martin Luther King has been disrespected enough by these white people. Fuck Charlie Kirk! Charlie Kirk! Charlie Kirk! Fuck Charlie Kirk! Thank you for your energy. Together! Join your local rapid response group. Give to your local mutual aid. Occupy your local vacant apartment. Let's do this.
Occupy your local vacant apartment. Dude, there is a... This is an army. This is a military invasion. This is a military operation. Where's it coming from? Neville Chamberlain, is that guy's name? George Soros, Act Blue. Where are the damned indictments? If you don't dismantle the funding mechanisms of this, you're going to keep having it. This doesn't seem like something you want to allow to fester. And this is the same crew that was out there in Chicago at the DNC, waving Palestinian flags, waving BLM flags, waving... The costumes change, but it's the same group of rabble-rousers and agitators. Professional anarchists. Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and they're laughing about it and bragging about it. There's no reasoning with people like that. They've lost their humanity. Yes, Marion, they're sick, demonic maniacs. Follow the money. Happy 222, make a wish. Someone paid them. Follow the money. So this is what you're up against. Man. In that video, 1 million views. I wonder how much that's been monetized. If radical activists are willing to use political violence, you would never want them in charge of a country. This is just common sense. The left continues to discredit itself as a viable and even sane political movement. As Rush Limbaugh would say, mind-numbed robots. Useful idiots. This is legitimately terrifying. It should be, because they're trying to take over this country. There is no living with these people, says Shu. We can pretend this is salvageable, or we can acknowledge that we can't live with these people and start having real conversations about what to do. They're telling us exactly what they will do if they get in power. Take them seriously now before it's too late. This has to be broken up. Here's my goofy RFK Jr. video. I'm not playing it again. But I did have someone play it, and someone came in the room and said, "Why are you listening to Bobby Kennedy?" I'm like, no, that's Brian doing that. She's like, what? I do. Like, I sometimes listen to a video or me doing that voice, and to my ear, it sounds just like him. I have a lot of fun with it. I'm not entirely sure what to do with it, but I love the impression. Is my hair getting long? I keep seeing, am I close to ready for a haircut? My hair just sort of does what it does now. It doesn't do much. As long as it's there, I'll take it. I keep looking at them. I see, like, I don't know. What are the bangs doing? Anyway. I glanced at the video and I started looking at my hair. Okay, so emojis. Confirmed tomorrow, the Iran emoji will update to reflect the free Iran. So it's changing this, which is the Islamic Supremacist one, and it's putting the lion back on. We asked Grok, is this real? And it says, yes, this appears accurate. X's head of product, Nikita Bayer, confirmed the Iranian emoji update will go to the pre-1979 lion. The pre-1979 lion and sun flag, with rollout starting tomorrow on web based on his statements and news reports. Basically saying the country is done. But they got other stuff that they're saying. Can I hear this? Is it translated? Let me listen. Ayatollah Khamenei issues orders for further K-ings in an intensified crackdown, says Hamid Dreza. Moments ago, he declared, well, let me hear.
همه بدونن.
How they do that? How they do that?
همه بدونن.
How did he do that?
همه بدونن.
How did they do that?
همه بدونن.
How did they do that?
همه بدونن.
Blah 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 blah.
همه بدونن.
Blah 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 blah. Anyway, it says moments ago he declared that we have spilled blood to establish this Islamic regime, and we will not retreat an inch in the face of the protesters. He went on to accuse the uprising of being orchestrated to please Pahlavi.
جمهوری اسلامی.
It reminds me of like Jabba the Hutt.
جمهوری اسلامی. جمهوری اسلامی با خون چند صد هزار انسان شریف روی کار آمده در مقابل کسانی که
All right, you get it. This person that I can't read because it's written in scribble. His name's in scribble. Look at his name. It's not a name. It's scribble. Look at this. I'm trying to full screen it. There you go. As large as possible. It's not a name. That's scribble. That's chicken scratch. I tells you. Host of the Domino podcast. What did he say? Tags President Trump and says, you said if the Iranian regime dragged people into the streets by force, you would act. Last night across Iran, people were in the streets. Many were killed. The regime has cut the internet, mobile networks, and all communications nationwide. If you mean to help, this is the moment. This is the hour right now. A lot of propaganda coming out. What do you say? I sound like the Muppet that sings do 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 phenomenon phenomenon do 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 phenomenon do 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 phenomenon. All right, let's keep going. Khomeini says rioters are burning down the country to please President Trump. He sounds like a Democrat. No, you demonic senile dictator. The protesters want to get rid of you to regain their freedom and make Iran great again, says Dr. Eli David. All right, Vivid shares this. Breaking: Muslim terrorists from Iraq say that they are on their way to Iran to support the terrorist Islamic regime against the Iranians who are uprising. Israel and the U.S. need to act and fast. The Iranian people needs our help. I don't know how helpful it would be to have Israel anywhere near any of this. Nobody wants to hear anything Israel has to say right now. That's not a judgment call. That's not in support of that statement, in opposition against it. Russell Wilson, they had this phrase, let him cook. Mike Barra brings it up on Strictly Football all the time. Check out our latest episode of Strictly Football. Season 2, episode 25 or 26. But let him cook. Let Russ cook. So like he would get up to the line of scrimmage and let him call audibles. Let him just coordinate. Let him call the plays. You know, a lot of people have an offensive coordinator. They tell you in your earpiece, you know, what plays to call. But it's like, let him cook. Let him just do what he's doing. Let him cook. Let Russ cook is what they would say as he won a Super Bowl with the Seattle Seahawks. And the Seahawks are #1 seed, by the way. Congrats to Mike and Jim on their team being really good this year, while mine is terrible. Same with Izzy's Cowboys. But let the Iranian people cook. Don't go in there, Israel, US. Don't go in. President Trump warned them, if you start shooting, we're going to come in. And it's like, hold on, what are we doing there? Let's not be too hasty. We don't. Still, I think he's rather tasty. Something have to. Gotta eat. Gotta steal to eat. Wait, what does it say? Gotta eat to live. Gotta steal to eat. Otherwise, we'd get along. Mr. Aladdin, sir, have a wish or 2 or 3. I'm on the job, and yes, sirree, Bob, you ain't never met a friend like me. It's that lady doing her wash, doing her laundry. Still, I think he's rather tasty. Gotta eat to live, gotta steal to eat, otherwise we'd get along. But yeah, let them cook. Let them cook. Don't muddy this up with U.S. involvement. Don't muddy this up with Israel. Just don't. That's my instinct. Tell me in the comments if you think I'm wrong for that. Obviously, the U.S. has a presence there. Obviously, they're working to remove the Islamic supremacist, terrorist, warlord, dictator, totalitarian tyrant. But we don't want to be overtly running this thing. And I don't think we want to let Israel be overtly running that thing. Just stay, let them cook. Let them cook. Are we completely certain that an uprising, an overthrow is going to be a good thing for Iran? Well, much like Venezuela, I haven't seen anybody with a good reason to keep them around. I haven't seen it. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but I don't know of anybody that's pro-Islamic supremacist leader of Iran. I don't know anyone that's pro-narco-terrorist Nicolas Maduro. And people are generally thrilled that they're gone. So we'll keep our eyes peeled. This is very slick propaganda, and I don't trust it. It looks like AI, sort of. Right? It's a bit of an AI vibe to this. Keep your eyes peeled. I don't know. Eli Afriat says protests have resumed in the city of Zahedan, Iran. Footage comes via Iran International via Starlink satellite. I mean, this could be happening in Minneapolis or New York. And there might be a similar number of Palestinian flags in the crowd. Yeah, Starlink is being used to help since they've shut the internet down there. Huh. Khomeini. They call him Imam Saeed Ali Khomeini, Iran's supreme leader. Yeah, okay. Put a post out that says, the U.S. president who judges arrogantly about the whole world should know that tyrants and arrogant rulers of the world, such as Pharaoh Nimrod, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, and other such rulers, saw their downfall when they were at their peak of their hubris. He too will fall. Readers have added context. Ali Khamenei is a dictator who has ruled for 37 years. Throughout his tenure, his government has been responsible for several crimes, including human rights abuses against the citizens of Iran, the support for terrorist organizations, and shooting down civilian airliners. Easy to understand. High-quality sources, directly addresses the claim, important context, neutral language, and other. I'm voting that is very helpful. The New American Media replied, yeah, we watched the deep state attack President Trump for 9 straight years now. You don't want Trump in power because that might mean that your Islamic supremacist tyranny will be in focus. Oppression is not popular, and it looks like your time is up. According to this translation
همه بدونن.
of how about they do, man? How did they do they?
همه بدونن.
How about they do then?
همه بدونن.
How about they do?
همه بدونن.
I don't know what I keep repeating there. But Hamid Reza says Khamenei issues orders for further killings and an intensified crackdown. Moments ago, he declares, we have spilled blood to establish this Islamic regime and we will not retreat an inch in the face of the protesters. Okay, I think I might have read you that one. Tommy Robinson says, executive order for mass murder by Khomeini. Stop him. Mario Knopfel shares this. He's one of the good follows out there. Iranian protesters break the gates of Ayatollah's compound in Fars province. Not a rally, not slogans from across a street, physical entry into a protected clerical site, the kind meant to establish permanence and control. That matters. These compounds aren't just residences. They're power markers, walled, guarded, untouchable, until they aren't. With the internet still restricted, footage like this leaks out in fragments. But the act itself is clear. Protesters weren't just chanting at authority. They went to its doorstep and pushed through. That post shared by Jewish Warrior 13. So you wonder, is this propaganda as well? But, I mean, President Trump dropped those bunker busters onto Iranian missile silos before any of this started happening. It's almost like he had to go through the operation. Just because Israel's in favor of something doesn't make it bad. Many things can be true at once. Sort of. New Yorkers are shocked after Kathy Hochul says this. If you thought Minneapolis was bad, take a listen to what they're doing here. Oh, good Lord. Surrounded by entirely surrounded by women.
Oh, this year we're committing an additional $1.7 billion in what we call recurring spending, something my budget director hates, but meaning we're committed. And so that means our total child care investment this year will be $4.5 billion in the state of New York. So we're in there. Oh, this year.
Child care. Huh. Bill Ackman says, hold on. Eric Daughtry says, let me get this straight. Their solution to rampant fraud is throwing more money at the fraudsters? This is insane. Bill Ackman says child care is important, but in light of the fraud that we've seen in Minnesota and California, shouldn't we make sure that there are mechanisms in place to ensure that the $2.8 billion that New York State is already spending annually is not wasted on fraud before we increase the annual budget by $1.7 billion? It's a good take. Defiant L's post this school board member having a total breakdown over, what is it she's breaking down over?
If you put prayer at the beginning of this meeting, I don't think that's a welcoming sign to the people who are in this room tonight. How much prayer do you need? How much God do you need? We say under God, we say it. Why do we need to say more? This to me is very disturbing. If I tell you I'm offended, I'm offended. I just don't understand why you're comfortable excluding people. Not everyone who is in this room tonight is Christian. And guess what? If you do this...
Guess what? Ugh.
Is Christian. And guess what? If you do this, we're going to have legal challenges. And guess what? It goes all the way to the Supreme Court because it's in the Constitution. I don't know why you need prayer to take this job seriously. But don't say this is,
I think your glasses are making me not take you seriously. Your hand slapping motions and your bob cut. I feel like you got cranked out of one of those leftist indoctrination camps is what it seems like. You're repeating.
Take this job seriously. But don't say this is going to unify when I'm telling you it will not. Why do you need this?
There you go. School board member. But what school board? Feels like they're not telling us the whole story there. Thomas Massey asks, does your family want to pay the federal government another $5,000 per year? $500 billion across 350 million people is. That's about $5,000 for every 3.5 people. President Trump, the tweet that I was referencing, says, after long and difficult negotiations with senators, congressmen, secretaries, and other political representatives, I have determined that for the good of our country, especially in these very troubled and dangerous times, our military budget for the year 2027 should not be $1 trillion, but rather $1.5 trillion. This will allow us to build the dream military that we have long been entitled to, and more importantly, that will keep us safe and secure regardless of foe. If it weren't for the tremendous numbers being produced by tariffs from other countries, many of which in the past have ripped off the United States at levels never seen before, I would stay at the $1 trillion number. But because of tariffs and the tremendous income that they bring, amounts being generated that would have been unthinkable in the past, especially just 1 year ago during the sleepy Joe Biden administration, worst president in the history of our country, we are able to easily hit the $1.5 trillion number while at the same time producing an unparalleled military force and having the ability to, at the same time, pay down debt and likewise pay a substantial dividend to moderate income patriots within the country. That's a tough battle to fight. It's tough for Massey to be against this. I mean, it's just, I hate what's happened, that Massey's against everything Trump does now. I don't like that part of the timeline. I think Massey brings a lot to the table, and I think Trump brings a lot to the table, and I want them working together, not always at each other's throats. I don't know if it's possible, but I wish it was. Libs of TikTok shows that the narrative went out. The woman who tried to K ICE agents was a, quote, legal observer, end quote. Who writes the identical talking points for the Democrats? Yep, they're all Nadler, Sarah Jacobs, CARE, California Endowment, Ilhan Omar, Maxine Dexter, Ed Krasenstein. Man, what a list of goofballs. What is this here? Libs of TikTok reporting Renee Good, the woman who was shot by ICE after she attempted to run an agent over, was reportedly part of a local ICE watch whose group's mission was to disrupt ICE operations, per New York Post. Good wasn't some legal observer like the media claims. She was a radical anti-ICE leftist activist. I don't know that to be true, but they are reporting it. Legal observer. DC Drano. She wasn't a legal observer. She wasn't even a legal professional. She was a paid agitator, and she committed multiple felonies before being shot in self-defense. Yeah, just make it simple. By the way, as I play you this clip, look at this Uncle Fester lady, this bald lady with the big thick glasses who's overacted. She reminds me of like Curly on Three Stooges. Anyway, Greg Price says this guy has lost his mind, according to Tim Waltz. I'll play you the clip in a second. For context, Stephen Miller reminds us Minnesota's first famously fought against the federal government for the right to import unlimited Somalis to defraud social services. Because Tim Waltz is out here saying stuff like this.
When things looked really bleak, it was Minnesota's first that held that line for the nation on that July 3rd, 1863. And I think now we may be in that moment that the nation's looking to us to hold the line on democracy, our history.
Just the lady with the hand gestures. I did a short where I just zoomed in on her. Let me share this with you.
I want to thank the elected officials that came themselves to help us prevent that from happening, as well as the individuals on that scene that remained peaceful and that abided by law enforcement instructions so that we could preserve that scene and ensure
it's
that a full and transparent investigation can take place. That being said, I just echo the mayor's comments that we ask that the community continue to call for peace. We understand people are going to be upset about what happened and people are going to want to exercise their First Amendment rights. But please do so safely and lawfully to ensure that we do not have any further tragedy in this city or destruction. Thank you.
Chief, Sheriff, Council members. Open to questions.
Any idea on the identity of the ICE officer?
It's so distracting. It's hard to watch anything else, is it not? Super distracting. Anyway. Yeah, Stephen Miller said, Minnesota's first did not famously fight against the federal government for the right to import unlimited Somalis. Stop it. Breaking, President Trump slams the Republican rhino senators who voted to approve the War Powers resolution. Well, here, just take a listen. Is there volume? Maybe not.
The yeas are 52. The nays are 47.
A joint resolution to direct the removal of United States armed forces from hostilities within or against Venezuela. President Trump on a war path here, saying Republicans should be ashamed of the senators that just voted with Democrats in attempting to take away our powers to fight and defend the United States of America. Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Rand Paul, Josh Hawley, and Todd Young should never be elected to office again. This vote greatly hampers American self-defense and national security, impeding the president's authority as commander-in-chief. In any event, and despite their stupidity, the War Powers Act is unconstitutional, totally violating Article 2 of the Constitution, as all presidents and their departments of justice have determined before me. Nevertheless, a more important Senate vote will be taking place next week on this very subject. So that's happening. Trying to limit what President Trump can do as commander-in-chief. Hillary Clinton says last night at the corner where an ICE agent murdered Renee Good. Wow. Murdered. Thousands of Minnesotans gathered in the frigid dark to protest her killing, a killing, in the face of this administration's lawless violence. Solidarity is the answer. They want to mold America to their cruelty. We refuse. Megyn Kelly says, this is disgusting. You're directly endangering lives with this post, madam, as you sit in your comfy manner and you're with your guards and your full staff. She said country manner, not comfy manner. But either way, both work. Murder. Philly District Attorney Larry Krasner warns ICE agents. Oh, here we go. That's Tim Walz called on every blue city to get stupid together. Here they go.
If any law enforcement agent, any ICE agent, is going to come to Philly to commit crimes, then you can get the F out of here.
Oh, good grief. They are so cringy. They're all told to swear. And even the squares who never say F, they have to say F, but they can't really say it. Oh, it is so contrived. After that, Jacob Frey did the same. Oh, how pathetic.
To commit crimes, then you can get the F out of here. Because if you do that here,
commit crimes,
I will charge you with those crimes. You will be arrested. You will stand trial. You will be convicted, whether it's in state or federal court. It's my office prosecuting it. That's how the law works. And you will do your time because Donald Trump cannot pardon you for a state court conviction. Do you hear me, ICE agents? Do you hear me, National Guard? Do you hear me, military?
He's telling the military, this is the seditious six. the continuation of trying to splinter the military. Law enforcement, ICE, Customs, Border Protection. Can you believe it, Nimbus? This is their plan.
You're going to jail if you commit crimes in the city of Philadelphia. You will be accountable.
Yeah, what crimes, huh?
The law applies to all of you.
Yeah, what crimes?
And I know that there are
bouncers are allowed to take people out that aren't allowed to be there.
Honest, decent, moral law enforcement officers out there by the bushel, including in ICE.
Oh, really? And you're going to threaten them that they're not allowed to do their jobs?
This is not for you.
Yeah, it is.
This is for any one of your colleagues who thinks they are above the law.
What are you even talking about? James Wood says, what chance in a million are these blue state Democrats not all neck deep in the fraud? Great question. Laura Ingraham went out there in Minneapolis, and a protester tells her,
Shame! Shame!
Do you have a job?
This is human rights.
Do you have a job?
Shame! Shame! I'm getting paid right now! Shame! Shame! Shame!
I'm getting paid right now.
Shame!
Do you have a job?
This is human rights.
Do you have a job?
Shame! Shame! I'm getting paid right now! Shame! Shame! Shame!
Say, got it. Got the soundbite. She didn't say she's getting paid to be there, but if she's getting paid right now, she might work a job that has royalties. Or she works at night. Who knows? That wasn't the gotcha you thought it was, but I mean, it is a nice soundbite. Here's a 5.5-minute clip I'm not going to play, but MJ Truth Ultra shares this saying, ICE needs to go to Fort Morgan, Colorado, Cargill Meat Factory. Somalians who handle your meat were fired for doing their Islamic prayers on dirty floors during hours. They sued and won $1.2 million. Filthy Somalians should not be handling our meat. Guess I'm not super familiar with this story.
The Council on American Islamic Relations helped them file this lawsuit, which to me sounds completely insane because they were trying to have 11 people leave the production line all at once. And it just makes me think, how come we cannot say it is a part of our religion to just have nap time or whatever we would like? Here in Fort Morgan, the Somali population is 1 to 2%, so around 240 people. I just came into a place called Mendimno grocery store. I saw a sign over there that said that there's a halal market in here, and so I came into this hallway and there's a grocery store right here, but they look closed. They do accept EBT. And there's a few other stores that I would have never expected to be in here. They have similar to the other store and looks like a kitchen over there. Super, super third world-ish in here. I'm just coming to look. The liquor store looks more welcoming than the other places. I just want to compare and contrast what small town America looks like compared to a place like Cedar Riverside, for example, or what this place could look like a few years down the road if the Somalian population grows. So here we have a bicycle store that obviously felt really sanctuary state.
But you get the point. I was unaware of that Cargill Meat Factory story in Colorado. Fort Morgan, Colorado. Dopey Jimmy Kimmel. I had this in the stack yesterday. Didn't get to it.
You know what? Maybe they're trying. I know what they're doing. They're trying out a new slogan. Donald J. Trump is going to kill you. It's pretty good, right? This maniac. He isn't just killing people overseas. An ICE agent today shot and killed an unarmed 37-year-old woman during an ICE operation.
Unarmed is bullshit. You're behind the wheel of a many thousand-pound killing machine. Oh, Jimmy Kimmel's the biggest fucking liar. The vehicle's the weapon. Everybody knows that. Jimmy Kimmel lies to your face about it. You don't hate him in ABC. Enough.
ICE agent today shot and killed an unarmed 37-year-old woman during an ICE operation in Minneapolis. They're there under the guise of protecting us. And, of course, our president weighed in with compassion. He wrote, I've just viewed the clip of the event which took place in Minneapolis. It is a horrible thing to watch. The woman screaming was obviously a professional agitator. And the woman driving the car, this is the woman who was killed, was very disorderly, obstructing and resisting, who then violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer who seems to have shot her in self-defense. Now, I saw this video. It didn't look like anybody got run over to me. It looked to me like a woman got scared and tried to drive away, and they shot her.
And hit. Oh, this guy is such an asshole. Hit an ICE officer.
Scared and tried to drive away, and they
right there, he was going to say, and then hit the guy, but he can't say that, so he has to make up his lie with that little pause.
To drive away, and they shot her.
And
that'll
be
for the court to decide. Well, the mayor of Minneapolis, though, had this to say.
They are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bull. This was an...
I got so angry watching that exact little clip because he's such a liar.
Agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying, getting killed. And I have a message.
Anyway. Are you boycotting ABC, ESPN, Disney yet? You're totally cool with what they're up to? All right, what are you saying? Your comments, your posts are removed. What are you typing that's getting removed? I don't delete anything. But you can't say certain things on you can't type certain things. It just automatically removes it. I don't know what's getting removed, but I'm not doing it. Mamdani is lying on national television, asked about one of his cabinet picks that was exposed as an anti-white zealot. He's claiming now all of a sudden he's dropped his seething hatred for white people. Nobody's buying this guy. He's going to screw New York. Yeah, we all know about the weapon of white supremacy and your anti-white.
Of the work that she has done. And she has won incredible victories for tenants across not just New York City, but also...
Yeah, I'm not listening to it. Amy Meck says Islamization of Florida rages on. Major expansion underway outside Tampa. Permanent infrastructure, generational planning. Well, there's that. New York Post says Renee Nicole Good was Minneapolis ICE Watch warrior who trained to resist feds before the shooting. Not a martyr. Really bad decision making. Police standing down in Minneapolis now, ceding control of their city.
Garrett. Yeah, Jesse, there have been protests going since this morning all throughout the day and into tonight. Here we've got a group of about a few hundred people that have been marching around the city, and they've really taken over this intersection here at Lake in Chicago. You can see they are blocking traffic on both sides, all sides of this road. No one is getting through here. Lots of chanting, lots of signs here. You see lots of flags as well. The Somali flag, the Colombia flag, a couple U.S. flags turned upside down. We had some sage burning just a minute ago. But the folks that have been out here, the consistent message from them is that they do not want ICE here. They have really been listening to those messages from state and local officials to get out in the streets to protest this federal action that is taking place in Minneapolis. On a couple of buildings just around this intersection, there is some graffiti that has gone up here with explicit statements about ICE, as well as R.I.P. Renee Good, the woman who was killed by an ICE agent yesterday after she was driving her car right into him. Now, throughout the day, one of the things that we have been seeing, we were over at a federal building earlier today, and what we've been waiting to see is this going to be like we saw in Chicago? You see here, there is no police presence at all. There is no police presence here at all. And that's what we've seen all through.
Because the blue cities need this to happen. They want this to happen. Hey, Nimbus. We have our routine where we'll look at each other sometimes and touch noses. Every now and then he'll try to bite my nose, so I got to be careful. Sometimes he'll try to groom my nose. Like, nope. Used to have a nose touch. That's our handshake, right? That's our handshake. We do nose to nose.
throughout the day as these protesters are being left to do whatever they want. If they encounter federal agents, it's completely up to the federal agents to handle that on their own. And
where are the rapid response teams that are arresting the people that are stepping out of bounds?
And it's notable because you look around here, these are active roadways. There are cars that are driving right up to this crowd before turning around. It could lead to really bad situations, and we've seen that happening all throughout the day. But these protests going on, and there's several more scheduled over the next couple of days, and especially into the weekend. So the city is bracing for itself with.
Yeah, the weekend's upon us. Be ready if you're out in any major city. If you're out and about, have your tools around you. Be aware of your situation. Have backup plans. Have escape paths. Don't get too close to the bumper of the car in front of you in case you got to make a U-turn. Like situational awareness.
The National Guard here now on standby. Jesse?
All right, very good report. Thank you. Stay safe, please.
Yeah. So buckle up. Blocking roadways, holding Americans hostage if they so choose. Insurrectionists doing this. Stephen A. Smith just doesn't understand what's going on with all this sanctuary city stuff.
I don't understand how sanctuary cities, honestly speaking, I got to educate myself in it. I don't understand how sanctuary cities are allowed in this country. I really don't. I don't get it. If there's federal laws that mandate that you know what, you can't cross the border illegally, there shouldn't be sanctuary cities saying, yes, you can. It just shouldn't be. I mean, one way or another, pick one. You either can or you can't. But it shouldn't be federal government says no, but you say yes, so you get to usurp the authority of the federal government, and we're still calling ourselves a nation of laws. Well, which laws? It makes no sense. That's where I'm coming from, Andy.
I live in Los Angeles.
You got 30 seconds, Andy. Andy, you got 30 seconds. You got 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Never voted once or was given the offer to vote for or against sanctuary city or state. I think it's a bunch of baloney.
Yeah. I don't blame you for feeling that way.
And nobody voted to have tens of thousands or millions of illegal alien invaders dumped into your city, your homes, your communities, your schools, your hospitals. None of us ever voted for that.
Because the American people should have an opportunity to vote on it.
Uh-huh. And just like in the NFL draft, you only select people that have gone through the process to prove that they are going to be bringing something to the table that might help your team. They don't show up looking to make your team worse and looking to drain you of your resources. They're going to get on board with the task, which is pulling something in one direction, working together, and they're going to get back there and do the work. They're not going to sit on the back of the bed and let you drag them along, getting fanned while they eat grapes at your expense and labor. That's what the Democrats have done. Nobody voted for that. That was not on the ballot ever.
You're absolutely right. I didn't even know that was the case, Andy, until you just told me. You understand? How you a sanctuary city just by declaring yourself to be a sanctuary city, but the citizens in the city didn't even vote on it? That doesn't seem to be the American way.
No, it doesn't.
I don't understand how sanctuary cities, honestly.
Katya says, I don't think the suspect in yesterday's confrontation with federal agents woke up that day planning to get K'd. I really don't. What I do think is that she probably thought she was provoking them in a way that would end with her probably getting yanked out of the car, maybe shoved to the ground, detained, something ugly but non-lethal. The kind of thing that turns into a viral video where they get to play the victim and paint ICE as monsters. That's a scenario people assume is safe, especially if they've been around activism long enough to believe the script always ends the same way. If her girlfriend was already outside the building, outside the vehicle filming, that tells me this wasn't spontaneous panic. That looks like intent to capture a moment. Maybe they thought, we'll push, they'll overreact, we'll get content. I'm sure she didn't think she'd get shot. I'm sure she thought she was in control of the situation. But then reality intervenes. Maybe she didn't see the officer in front of the car. Maybe she had tunnel vision and wasn't focused on the agent next to her. But she did accelerate forward, and once a vehicle is moving toward an officer, the situation changes instantly. At that point, whether she meant to or not, She put herself into a lethal scenario and lost her life. That's tragic. It's also not the same thing as this just happened for no reason. And if it turns out there's evidence that this was coordinated, that the girlfriend was setting this up, encouraging it, orchestrating it to get viral confrontation, then yeah, I think she should face charges too, not just because someone died, but because if you help engineer a dangerous situation and someone ends up dead, you don't get to wash your hands of it afterward. Sympathy doesn't mean pretending people had no agency, and accountability doesn't mean saying someone deserved to die. Both things can be true at the same time. I've been saying that phrase a lot over the lately. Multiple things can be true at once. Multiple things can be true at once. Danette pointing out that her best friend was T-boned by ICE in Peoria, allegedly. They denied her care. She's in a lawsuit. They have text receipts too. They ran the stop sign, slammed into her, and tried to get away. Cops were around. Came to them and assisted. She has a fractured back from it. They are acting lawless in cases, so it should be addressed. I want every ICE operation to be as efficient, effective, safe as possible. I agree with that. I don't know the exact details of that. But just arguing that they shouldn't be bouncers inside the nightclub and they shouldn't be allowed to kick people out, of course they can. That is their job. That's one of the only things we need out of government, is making sure people aren't allowed to sneak in, especially those with nefarious purposes and intents. But yeah, I want the best version of the bouncers as possible. And the best version is absolutely not having bouncers. So there's that. And that's what I had prepared for you today. Let me maybe just do a quick scroll, because I felt like I did have something else that I wanted to share. Is there like one big story I didn't get to? I talked about Iran. Oh, I wanted to mention with Iran, go check out John B. Wells. His show yesterday. Was it John B. Wells Live? Here's the episode. And I have to skip it. The show that he had was called Strategic Collapse of Iran. Here, I'm going to share it on X. I'm going to say, well worth the listen. I was working very late last night. I momentarily, I gotta stop this music. Stop the music. Yeah, I was working very late last night. I had been recently getting up very early, helping Bob France. Check out his show, Strictly Speaking. I was training Bob to use Restream and Rumble and to get everything set up and helping him get up off the ground. He's about a month in now. But this week was the first week getting up very early. It's 7 to 9 a.m. show. No, I am not specifically producing his show. He's doing that himself and his team. But I was pseudo-producing for a couple of weeks. But the difference in time schedule was now that I'm not doing that as much now, I can get back to my schedule, I think is what I'm trying to say. But I was up very late last night into the wee hours of the morning, slept through my first alarm. 6 a.m. was not happening. 7 o'clock, maybe 8:30 is more like it. But I listened to the interview John B. Wells had with his guest. I pulled it up. I was going to share it. Did I share you the... Oh, it's on X. I shared it. The Strategic Collapse of Iran with Dr. Ramesh Baharad at ncr-iran.org, at Iran_policy on X. So check that one out. If you want to learn more about Iran, because I don't know everything there is to know about Iran at all. Not even close. But I'll tell you this much. If I had more to share in the stack, scroll around. That's why you need to follow the New American Media in all of the places. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube and Rumble and Patreon. We have a free Patreon and a $10 monthly minimum over there. You can be a monthly subscriber on Rumble and YouTube, as well as Rumble Rant and Super Chat tips. If you enjoyed the show today, if you enjoyed hanging out, you want to toss something in the tip jar, we appreciate you. We're on all the platforms that we can be. I guess not TikTok yet. Maybe we should have been, but I just sort of have zero interest in doing it. But we're on Facebook and Truth Social and Spotify. Make sure if you have a podcast distribution method, Spotify or Apple, whatever, can you get our podcast, please? Take 20 seconds, click on your podcast app, and subscribe to the Agree to Disagree show. That's where the umbrella that we put all these TNAM daily shows. Because up until recently, everything was called the Agree to Disagree show. Now we've portioned it out, but I don't want to separate it and have a separate podcast. I just want to sort of grow it as it sits. But yeah, please consider signing up with all of the places, as well as Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal tip jars at the bottom of the screen. Thank you for hanging out today. It's Friday. I think the weather's going to be good. Yeah. I mean, good for, they say it's near a record high. Is that what they were saying? I mean, we have broken free from the coldest of the cold. Sunday, it's going to dip again. So I'm somewhere in between the highs of 66 to 32, lows of 60 to 22. It's been strange weather this year. But yeah, I hope you find a good use of your weekend. Whatever that looks like. Make it a good one. I got so much to do, but I'm happy about it. I'm happy about it. All right. Thank you to all the regulars in chat today. Thank you to everybody out there. Share the show with a friend. And I'll be back. I don't think I'm going to live stream anything this weekend. I reserve the right to change my mind, but plan on being back Monday at noon. So signing out on behalf of everybody out there in the TNAM universe, I appreciate you. I love you. And we'll talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Peace.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.